Hello and welcome back to the Basil Breen Boombox. I'm here with Eddy Mehmedovic.
Mehmedovic, yeah.
Mehmedovic. That's the one. And Colm Moore.
Yes.
Yes, the triple threat here. Otherwise known as Edco Fitness.
Edco Fitness. That's the one.
I thought it was Eco Fitness when I first looked at it.
That's the name of a book, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's only when we made it. Do you know the Educo? Like it's like a book company. Like people were saying it to us afterwards, like the school books.
I thought it was an environmental way.
We actually got texts as well. It was like, "Are you doing teaching classes and stuff for school?"
Yeah.
We're like, "What?"
Yeah.
No,
someone DM'd us randomly because the book range, like the leaving cert, the junior cert book,
Educo, yeah.
Oh, it was
that's
brilliant.
Interesting. Would you actually even think there's? Because I was talking to my brother about this, because he's pursuing obviously Paddy Jobsman and the kind of career advancement for people and career help, career guidance. Do you think there's something? Like, because there's PE in school, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what's like the next level for PE, you know what I mean? Like where you're taking, I don't know, for my thing with PE it was just like a bit of crack, a bit of kicking the ball around. But there's nothing about nutrition. Like the stuff they were selling in schools. The amount of Coca-Cola I was able to drink.
And the chocolate bars and all this shit you'd be eating. Like.
It's interesting. It's not like Ireland's different, like, because you have the likes of America and stuff, like they have wrestling and proper gyms. Like, what did we have? Like,
we're so plain, aren't we? Like,
let's
just go in, kick a ball around for an hour, and that's it. Go for a roll around the pitch or
so
something.
much more.
Yeah.
I think it's all about your teachers, though.
But you're right. Yeah, they need to be qualified in that as well, though. It's kind of like, what are they qualified in?
I think as it
gets what are you qualified in?
That's a call out there. Like,
we don't know this. People have to make money whatever way they make, you know what I mean? But no, it's just one of them things I was just thinking. It depends on the teacher though as well, because I think the teacher allows you to get more out of the subject. You know what I mean? Depends on how much they're. I find it with kids, like when I'm showing kids stuff, I get real into showing them stuff.
Yeah.
And some teachers I did have were real into showing, but I think with fitness and stuff, that's like something that. I don't know, maybe it's different now in schools, but when we were there...
But that's where it starts, though. It's the young age, isn't it? Like, if you learn at the young age in secondary school, like, that's where the beginning is. And here, it might send people on a different path, like, into the fitness role and stuff as well, so...
Yeah.
But they should kind of...
It's changed now, though, like, the dynamic, like, like, we were only in school, it wasn't that long ago, do you know what I mean? 10 years ago. But, the dynamic has changed, like, there's so much more young people getting into fitness now and actually being conscious about, food and training, like, so maybe that's where that next wave will come
it really
from,
is up and coming. Like, even your brother, like, he's mad into the gym, and it's even when you're in the gym, so many young people in it these days. It's
great to see.
It is good to see.
It's like the passing of the guard, like,
the
young lads, because you remember when you started, like,
100%,
and I just remember seeing you in the gym, up and well fit and stuff, and then you'd be like,
it's mad, the next, you're gonna be like who I was for you, and I had my people who I seen who were coming through for me.
Eddie always says that, and I'm like, oh, there's them young lads. He's like, yeah, but they're the new era. Like,
like, I love it. Like, I love seeing it, because lads, just like you said that, like, I remember when I started looking up to certain people, and now you see them, and you're like, you're on the same wavelength almost. You're like, holy shit, like, it's mad. You get there, like, and all these young lads are probably doing the same thing to us, like,
you know what I think is, and it's an interesting dynamic in the gym, where, well, I found, let's say if I go in on my own, and I'm kind of doing it on my own, I have the headphones on, and I see someone who, like, we're at this kind of same level, whatever, and I'm just like, I'm working out, but I'm kind of seeing them as like a bit of competition, or like 100%. We're both pushing each other to another. You know, in my head, I'm like, we're giving each other a bit of respect. But as soon as if I open up a conversation and meet them, right, instead of looking at them as like a competitor, it now becomes a more like, I have their best interests at heart. You know what I mean? So just by kind of
even engaging with them.
Just engaging with them. It changes the whole dynamic. You're on their side then, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're almost like, when you see them come in, you're like, who's that? Like, I hate you. Like,
like, because you don't know them.
You don't know them.
Said a word to them. They just caught you catch them looking at you. You look at them, and you're just like, you have that little moment, and you're both fucking looking jacked. As jacked as you are. You know what I mean?
It's almost primal, though, isn't it? Like, it is.
That's 100%, man. It is primal, and I think another thing as well, a weird dynamic that I found. I don't go to the gym that much anymore, but because I have all the things out my back. But back to the primal thing, like there is a kind of sense that you're when you go to the gym, you're going there for that specific purpose. You know what I mean? And when people are around you, you kind of feel that sense of like, I'm doing this and I'm seen as doing this in a way, in a subconscious kind of way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, everyone has their own goal though. Like that's where they're all going. Everyone has their own things to be doing as well. But then there's some people in the gym who wouldn't even look at you.
Yeah.
They're just in, do their thing, and they're gone.
Yeah.
Like, oh, here.
But like what you were going on about, like that's almost like an aura, like a persona, like who you're perceived to be, like that person in the gym or that person. And it's like it's its own little community, like because like I notice even in like other aspects of life, you see someone who works out and they're in good nick, and then they notice you, and you just almost have that mutual like, you know what I mean, like because you know what it takes as well.
Yeah.
Eddie's a good analogy there with the workplace and the gym and stuff.
Yeah, because like it is. I always say to Colm, like, and a lot of people in the gym, like, it doesn't matter whether you're whatever you are outside the gym, CEO, COO, you could be the owner, you could be a millionaire, and you're an expert in that field. But once you step in to the gym, you're a novice like everyone else, and we're all even. Like, so like you could be in ridiculous shape, right? And I could be a massive owner of whatever business, and I'm the shit outside. But when I come in, I'll look to you for guidance, like, and I just every time we say it, it's just like you kind of reassure yourself, because when you start training people, you know, and they come from different backgrounds and different experiences, and you might look at them a different way. You're like, well, hold on, like, we're the experts here, or you're like they're stepping into your field. Can't let them nearly
overtake you, like make you afraid.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, who's this? Like, he's whatever. Like he works at.
Like,
he's
this
coming
is
in.
your field.
Yeah.
So it's actually like this is the realm that your expertise.
It's kind of like you though as well with your podcasting or anybody. It's in any area, like.
But it's like it's like. It's hard to explain where you come from. It's like we're all at a level playing field when we come in here, like, and the only thing that like, if you love working out and I love working out, we have that connection. It doesn't matter what we do outside of work, like, it's just you have that bond, like in sports as well.
Like. Well, I think we do. We just wear different hats. Like many people, like we're brothers, we're fathers, baby, we're husbands, we're students, we're employees. You know, we actually have loads of different hats. And it's interesting how perhaps, let's say, if we were training a CEO, we take into consideration, oh, there you have a big CEO hat. Yeah. You know, even though we're in the gym now, it kind of puts it like a little, oh, but wait there, this is different. This is a different space, and it shows you that I think that we're all just kind of like people at the end of the day. In one field, let's say the gym, like you might have some expertise in me, like I've expertise in recording stuff. But at the end of the day, like there's stuff that I also am an absolute novice in, like flexibility. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
true. Yeah.
I need to get back into it. Like I was getting all right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I couldn't touch my toes for ages. Then I touched my toes, and now I'm not there again. You know what I mean? So there's always kind of places where you are a novice. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, everyone, and I see this even with my brother, when I just realised, you know, that he is just a man and he's having tremendous success online, but at the end of the day, he's just a lad. Yeah. Like, we're all just
he's just doing his thing, like.
Exactly. Yeah. There's no reason to give people more credit than they deserve, because at the end of the day, if you just treat them for what they are at face value to you, that's what really they are. Because at the end of the day, you know, they still have to put the pants on one leg at a time. You know what I mean? I never really got that analogy, but
no, I know. But you don't know if you're out helping either. Like, he's helping so many people. Like, we could be helping so many people. You're helping so many people through this. Like, but if you're not posting it, no one's going to see it.
But you're also helping people in a different way as well. That you might even think by pursuing it. So, like, one thing with you lads, right, is that, like, by posting on Instagram and like venturing out into that world of content creation, and just other people that are sitting on the fence. Because at one time we were all sitting on the fence.
Exactly, yeah. And we were sitting on it for a long time.
Yeah. So when did you actually... But before, let's bring it back. When is our little young lads. How did your friendship even emerge and come to be, if you can remember in any way? Or give me some sort of...
School is like secondary school. Like, we always had a group of friends that kind of knew each other mutually, as everyone does in skerries, like, but we never properly knew each other It was almost sort of that 5th, 6th year sense.
Yeah,
and like you didn't even really work out. Like it was
No, I
nothing
was
to do with
never
working
into
out.
the
We just
gym
used
at
to
all,
like go out.
Eddie was always kind of the gym lad in school. Like you'd always
All
kind
your
of
brothers were probably in charge.
and then you see him. I always used to see him walk across the green. No, I'd meet up with you and walk down. We didn't really know each other too well, and then we just got to know each other, and then that was it. Then like
that was it. Yeah. Then like
kind of
obviously
made our own little group. That's what it was. It was kind of a few of us, and then everyone ventured off eventually, and we kind of stuck together.
Does at the end of
we clicked so well. We everything like whatever he likes, I'd like, and we always bounced off each other very well. Like
so it just stuck.
It just stuck. Yeah.
The gym thing though was like different, like because Colm was like training for years, but he was training in like different elements.
Yeah.
And, like you
running
know, as
and
most
cardio
people do,
stuff.
like they didn't really know how to build muscle. Like they went to the gym and he was really good at fitness. Like whereas I was the opposite. Like all he did was hypertrophy, weight training and stuff. Like
bring me into the gym. Come here to me. He dragged me into the gym.
I used to keep saying it to him, just do it.
He was actually training me. And I was like, no, I don't want to train with you. Like, and then one day I was like, open my outfit. I was like, yeah, let's go. So he brought me to a session. That was it then. It's stuck ever since.
Wow.
So that's sort of where the gym, the early days came from. Like.
So you've kind of been training together for years then?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much, yeah.
That's so cool.
Probably the last 4 or 5 years.
You've been training since, 15?
Yeah,
14, 15.
I gym when I was
but
16,
yeah, I mean,
16,
all hit, like you had Mercer, leading the charge, and like I think you so many brothers, you know what I mean? Which is just a crazy dynamic altogether, you know what I mean? Like testosterone city, and they have just such good genetics as well, you know what I mean?
It's all about the
I'm not taking but you have to take that into consideration.
I know, you do, but it was. I didn't get into it for that reason. Like I think everyone has their own reason why they go to the gym. Like, and I was never seen as that person. Like I was seen as that. Like I get into it because I was never noticed in most situations. Right, I was skinny and I was tall, and that was sort of it, like, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, right, I need to start doing something. And then I watching Pumping Iron, all these old documentaries. Arnie, I remember my brother, I was like, I would look like Arnie. He's like, he's taking juice. I was like, no, fuck. Like, I thought they were all natty.
Dreams crushed out, out of nowhere.
And that was sort of my reason then. Then I was that guy, like Colm said in school, everyone was like, oh, that's that fella that goes to the gym. Like, and I wasn't even in that great shape, but I just worked out. Like, and then it meant then you got noticed, and then people sort of got to know you. So that was my sort of entry to working out. Like.
Well, we're all looking for our place in the world, and especially as when we're younger, we don't realise, but we're sussing out. It's a complicated world that we grow up in with friend groups and girls and boys and funny and all the rest of the stuff. You know what I mean? So we're all trying to figure out where do I identify, or where do I get my identity from?
Where do you fit in?
Where do I fit in? Like why? What hierarchy am I going to try and shoot to be at the top of, in a way? You know what I mean? Because I think that's such an instinctual thing for us to think there's competency. Where can I be more competent? Maybe I'm not going to be NBA, but maybe if I work out, Jesus. And you're probably even not even conscious of it, but when it starts happening, then you start becoming the identity itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you know no different, and you just keep going with it, and you roll with it, and then see where it takes you. Like,
I guess I am the gym guy.
Yeah, that's literally it. Like,
but that was it. Like,
but sometimes, you'd be kind of like even out, and you'd be like, "What am I doing? What am I going to do? Like, what am I doing out here? Or if you're on a night out drinking, it's like this is kind of wrecking my progress a bit, or whatever. I don't know. I'd get real kind of fixated sometimes. Like, you'd be out on a night out, and then. I don't know, like you can enjoy yourself, but then you're always thinking like, am I going to be fresh tomorrow?
Yeah.
Am I going to be able to hit the gym tomorrow? But like, that's just me though, and like Eddie, that's the way we think.
Yeah.
But also, if you start, this is the kind of trap.
Yeah.
Of if you're going to be spearheading the fitness world with yous, and you have to kind of live up to them expectations. You know what I mean? It's like a politician saying, I'm going to do this, and then doesn't do it. It's like, you're talking about all this stuff, so you have to kind of be careful what rules you set, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Because I'd even seen, I think I was watching some of your Instagram stuff just to kind of, bit of research, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And one of them was about, which I liked, was the calculation of calories, not over a day, but over a week.
The week,
You know what I mean? That's a nice little bit of leeway.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
work
And
with
it's
it then.
less whip cracking.
That's what I do. Like I'm a big advocate of that. Like because it's not all about like fitness has gone to a thing now where like you go to a coach, they stick you on like ridiculously low calories. You're spearheading, you're seeing progress, you're motivated. It gets to the day, you're not healthy, and then once your date is done, you go back to eating normal, and then you come back to them again when it suits you, and when you have a goal. Like, so like by doing that, and by us sort of giving out that nutritional advice, it sort of makes people understand what we do to stay in shape year round, and that it doesn't need to be this bogged down hardcore like chicken and rice, you know, like you can go out, you can enjoy a meal, you can
that's
enjoy
what we say
drinks
to people as well. Like, you can go out for your drinks, you can go out for your pints in the weekend. Like, just like that's the good thing about it. Like, doing it that way, you can flexible diet, and like it's easily done.
What do you think about the idea that, like, because when you're saying that to me there, and I'm thinking, okay, if I'm a trainer, a personal trainer, the best result for me is to get one of my students, let's say, what would you say, clients? You say clients. Yes. Students, clients, you know, tomato, clients, or whatever. But if I can get them with a good before and after picture, that's like such good marketing. That's probably messing things up. Yeah.
It's gold dust, isn't it? Like,
that's the gold dust. Like, the one good transformation is going to make or break you. Like, definitely.
But that would make you fall into a trap
it's
of
the
like,
wrong
you
way
need
of
to
doing
eat.
it.
Yeah.
Because, like we always say, like, teach someone how to train. Like, your client. Obviously, these people are like personal trainers. You want to have that client come back to you. You want your 8 weeks. You want your 12 weeks. Realistically, I'm not sure how many of them want people to learn how to train, so they don't need to come back to them. Like, and that's where we don't want to do that with people. Like, we want to teach you how to train, how to track your macros, and make it a lifestyle thing. Like, so you don't need to come back every 12 weeks or whatever.
Edco, going back to Edco, nearly teaching you, like,
you see the
we're almost like
they are students.
We're almost they are students. Like, we're teaching them. Like, we want to give them the education to actually go off. And then we're finished the 6 weeks or however long it is to maintain it. And that's what we're saying it to everyone as well. Like, it's hard to get that across though sometimes, like, to tell someone, because they are so used to doing them 6 week programs where it's just like, eat that, do this at this time, sleep now, and that's it. And then we're trying to give it a different spiel on it. But they do latch onto it, and they're doing well. Like, some people really do kind of.
It is a lifestyle thing though. There's no, like, it's like 6 week abs, all this stuff. Yeah. It's just such a bad, there's a bad energy around with it because you're doing it for the wrong reasons. It's like, it's like the journey. If you can get people interested in the actual journey of fitness and health, and because it's not just fitness and stuff. The way I was thinking about it recently, so. It's good to have kind of goals, right, that are in the future. And let's say one of your goals, it could be go to college and do this, or you know, record a song. Like, some goals are kind of intangible. It's hard to kind of because they're kind of these abstractions. You know what I mean? They're not real. As in, if I work out and I want to get stronger, if I go to the gym and lift like week in, week out, I will get stronger, and it's real tangible because I am actually stronger, and there's a number associated with the lift.
You can see the progress.
It's a real kind of it's a good psychological thing to have, right? Because when everything else in your life, it's good to pursue a few different things, because things will not always be going good in all of them, you know what I mean? Yeah. And the gym is something that you can nearly always have, as long as you're consistent. Definitely.
It's always going to be there for you. It's going nowhere.
It'll always be there, and it's always something that you can be improving on. And I think that's what's good about any kind of pursuit, is something that, okay, I did this, like I was doing this last week, and now I'm visibly in a better place.
Yeah, like, it's all about showing up. That's what I'm always saying. That we're always, like, it's about showing up. Consistency is key. Like, even if you show up and you're not enjoying, you don't want to do it, and you get it done. Like, it's consistency. Like, it's showing up to that gym, or not even the gym. Like, it doesn't have to be the gym.
Whatever
it is. Like,
it's like Simon Sinek says it best. He's like, people now, it's like a mountain. Like, that's what he says, and he talks about work though. Like, I use it in the gym, and they're like, they're at the bottom of the mountain, and they want to get to the summit, but they don't see the mountain. They just want to get to the summit. Like, and that's a lot with working out. Like, they see the physiques. Like, although people say good genetics or whatever, like, I've been doing it for almost 10 years consistently over years.
And
like,
the good genetics,
but like, and then Ross Edgley, like, we like Ross Edgley. Like,
have you heard of Ross Edgley before?
No.
Yeah, he's an animal.
Yeah, he's a beast. He swam around the whole Great Britain.
Yeah,
like, he does
done
all
marathons,
these
pulling a Mini Cooper and everything, cars, done like what? an ultra like with a log on his back, cycle, swim,
marathons
and
like
all,
dragging a car.
Mad, yo. Yeah. This fella's crazy.
But he wrote the world's fittest book, and he says hard work is so often the answer. The question is almost irrelevant. Like, and when you think about things in that sense, like whatever you put into anything you do in life, you get out of it, and that includes training. Like, and that's the aspect we go about. Just show up every single day, regardless of if it's a good day, bad day. If you just have it in your head that you're going to show up, like,
I'm going to give one negative there. Social media is a powerful tool, where it's like you see the likes of Ross Edgley and all doing this, and you're like, I need to be doing that. It's kind of like I need to be running with a log on my back,
misinformation.
And then you see everyone like whatever they're doing, you're like, I should be out kind of doing this or doing that. But it can be, you can get fixated on it, like looking at your phone all the time, or on Instagram
100%.
and YouTube, and all these YouTubers like making it. And we always say that's like all these young lads making it, millions, buying their Lamborghinis or their whatever they're driving, and you're like, it's a crazy world that people are growing up in.
Oh, but that's the problem. The problem is that we used to just compare ourselves to the people in our circles. You know what I mean? In our towns.
Yeah.
But now we're to compare ourselves against the top 0.0001% that have nothing. Like, there's nothing we could ever do.
No.
Like, what was I reading? There was imagine someone discovered like there was some lad in Skerries. He basically provided like some sort of theory for quantum computing, and he was only in like 16 or something. It was something to do with computational, like whatever. Yeah. And I was just thinking, oh my god, like what am I doing with my life?
Know.
But if he had been in America or somewhere far away, I'd be thinking, like that's just some like American or Chinese lad or whatever. Yeah. So I think unfortunately, like social media allows us to compare ourselves unfavorably against things like really we can't do anything that we can't do, if that makes sense. So what I mean is
you don't have any like power over it,
we are who we are, and literally the only person you can compare yourself fairly is you, because you're the only one that came out of like your mother's vagina or C-section or whatever at the time you did, with the genetics, with everything, whatever when you came out, and like everything else is basically like a roll of the dice in a way, you know what I mean? So I think what you were saying there about showing up though was good, because showing up sometimes for things like music production stuff, I get inside my own head too much thinking, oh, but I need to do it in the best way before I even start. Yeah. And like what you're saying there about people seeing, they're seeing people do maybe crazy workouts and stuff, and they think, oh, well, what's the point in going if I'm not?
But you're probably looking at people with the best mics, the best guitars, the best setup, like.
No, but there's like years of experience.
Yeah, but you don't.
Because it's there now and you can see it. Yeah. That's a trap with social media. Like, I feel so much better that we didn't grow up as that young with phones, with social media. Like, it was only coming to play sort of at the end of our 5th and 6th year. Like, but I can imagine, like, if I was a young lad or woman looking at social media all the time, looking to get into the fitness game, you know, it would mess with your head.
This day and age is mad. I don't even know what young kids are thinking these days. Like, I wouldn't even want to talk to them, really. Like, it would mess with your head. Well, like, what are they seeing on TikTok, Instagram? There's so many platforms that they can look at,
and it's so easy to you know, not brainwash people, but like back in the day they had propaganda.
It is a brainwash.
Back in the day they had propaganda on the TV, and that's what convinced people, and you taught a different way. Now you have this device where anyone can jump on and do anything. And
it used to be the TV ads, like it used to be Smiths. You've been back as a kid, like what for Christmas? You see TV ads or like you know, Smith's catalogue. But now it's on your phone, and they're seeing all sorts. And it's not toys, I tell you. It's something that's different shit.
It's insane, and it takes a part of the human experience, which is our kind of want to be validated by our peers. You know what I mean? Which is good. You know what I mean? If I feel that yous are happy with what I'm doing in the world, I feel good about it. Like if I say to yous lads, fair play to what yous are doing out there, you know what I mean? The education fitness or whatever it is, you know what I mean? Environmental fitness. It's like, that's a good feeling, and it's okay to feel good about that. But with social media, it takes that aspect and it associates kind of like metrics like likes and views and things that are kind of abstract and sort of out of your control in some respect, but it makes it so you are valuing yourself against numbers that are like that aren't really real in a sense. You know what I mean? Like it's like our brain is so easily susceptible to kind of that kind of comparison game is like, well, I'm not getting this many numbers or views or this or that, then this
can
person
really play in your head.
Oh, and it's insane, but it's like it's all kind of pointless, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate that that's what. But it's very kind of superficial in a sense, because it's mainly for girls, unfortunately, like from an evolutionary standpoint. Especially growing up as teenagers, like looks is like how they, like when we're trying to figure ourselves into our hierarchies, and even good looking men, like really good looking men and women, they
like
are like,
they
have like a superpower. Like they have like a superpower over like the rest. You know what I mean? Because their hierarchy, they don't have to decide. They know, all right, well at least I have this hierarchy and I can play with this hierarchy. And women that know that as well. You know, like fair play, like they won the genetic lottery. But if you didn't win the genetic lottery,
you're gonna have to make it somehow.
You're gonna have to make it somehow. But for women, it feels even harsher, and you can see teenage suicides going up with the invention of Facebook, basically, because their self-worth, in a sense, is tied. Partly, it can be tied. It doesn't mean that it. Doesn't mean that this is true when I say it, but they're more susceptible to thinking my self-worth is tied up in my appearance, you know what I mean? And that's the real danger of social media, because it's like there's nothing you can do about that as well. It's literally nothing
it's
you
like
can
these
do.
the Kim Kardashians and all these the Kardashians are all looking at, like, they love watching that, like, and they have a massive influence on like even women, like like they are growing up and
going
out.
back to the working out, you always say that. Remember the analogy that you use is like, you can be not the greatest looking person, but if you work out, like
you're just like so I was saying, like, you can be like a 4 or 5, right?
Yeah.
But like there's so many things you can do to upgrade yourself. Like you can go to the gym, like you can just look after yourself, have a shower, groom yourself, like to look after yourself, like your skin, change your appearance, like your clothes and stuff.
Look at the positives, like
exactly. Don't stay in that rut and be like, I can't do anything, I can't change the way I look. You can. There's so many things you can do, like.
And like I think the problem is, like, because I've been in a, like, my self-worth has improved over time, you know what I mean? But there was a time where I didn't want to play the grooming or the style games because I was like, I was too down on myself and my appearance that, like, to play the game was to lose or something, you know what I mean?
I get you.
It's like
you didn't want to get it one over you nearly, like, you're like, I'm not going to let that beat me, or something
no, but it's like...
Cave into it.
Sometimes I'm afraid of competition because let's say, even if we go, if we race somewhere or bowl, or like sometimes, like, my mate Carl loves competition, you know what I mean? Right. But I get real uncomfortable with competition because I rather, like, I don't know, I hate putting myself on the chopping block or something, you know what I mean? It's like it's like a safer place to not say, like, so you make excuses in your head why you're not competition, because really you're afraid of losing, or you think you're losing already. So it's actually, my brain does backflips to flip it so I'm not competing or whatever, you know what I mean? Because it's a safer place. But that's like then you're not going to ever get the gains from playing the game.
It's true,
you know what I mean? If you don't put yourself out there in the way that is a lot, like, if you're just going to shy away from the world,
you can sit back and let life just go by, like, but you have to play the game.
So many people do, and like, although it is like, I hate that, like, if you're a 4 or 5 out of 10, all this, like, everyone has their own things, like, you know what I mean? And it doesn't matter, just because someone looks a certain way doesn't mean
it's not all, like, the value.
No. But I get where you're coming from. This is coming from 3 people who love working out, like, and looking after themselves. But it's just funny how society goes that way.
It's about having a good conversation as well. Like, and you said, going back to the very start, like, about someone in the gym and you see them, but once you talk to them, that barrier is broken down, like, and that's it. Like, but conversations, like, speech, like, it's a very powerful thing. Like,
and it helps to change the whole, like, when you have that conversation, it changes everything. All the little thing you had in your head, it's like, oh, that's a person, and that's a thing, and this is way different than what I thought it was.
Like, I remember even, like, someone, like, even in work and stuff or whatever, you see somebody, like, I don't like that person, but then you get to talk to them, and then all of a sudden you're best mates with them years down the line. That happens so many times with me, even with people we may know or whatever, like, you're best mates with them now, and you thought you'd never even talk to them, and then you just break that barrier, and then you're best mates
Yeah, it could be something simple, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It could be that you've seen something that they did, and you know, it felt wrong to you.
Exactly.
Whatever,
Yeah.
little
Against
thing
your
where
morals,
they said
nearly,
something
like, yeah.
in an offhand way. Who
Yeah.
knows what it is?
Yeah.
And then you let that kind of define the rest of your life.
Yeah,
with this
that's
person.
literally it. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you never open your heart up to them again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like sometimes when I meet new people, usually it's good, you know what I mean? But I know when I'm rubbing up someone the wrong way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm real socially aware,
Yeah.
like, because that's kind of how that's the hierarchy I was trying to sit on, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
"Oh, everybody like me, we're
Yeah,
having a good time, making people laugh. And if I'm not making people laugh, and I'm
You're
seeing
kinda
someone, they're not enjoying my jokes, I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah,
here?
yeah. But
He's
some
not-
people just probably just won't enjoy it. Like
No,
that's
I
yeah,
get it.
it's
Some people just
And
won't
it's not-
enjoy it.
and it's nothing against you, like,
Yeah.
I know,
but in your head,
I'm
you're
not
like,
gonna compete. But then I'm always like, all right, I'm gonna crack this, and
Yeah.
I'm waiting. I'm just,
Yeah.
I'm talking to them. I'm gonna
Yeah.
tie them in. I'm gonna show them that I'm real interested.
Yeah,
It's something
that's
that they
true.
have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To try and, because I think, even if that is the case, where it's like it can be like a rough beginning. If you dig far enough into their interests and your interests, once you find that common ground.
yes.
It's just like, that's why you see
Yeah.
people who work out and stuff. It's like, we have something in common. We get it. Like, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? And that's a real powerful.
Yeah, it is. And like going back to what you actually said at the start about building that relationship with someone locally in the gym, and then tying it back to what we were talking about social media. We got so bogged down with likes, follows, this and that. And it was actually something I heard on one of your earlier podcasts. You said you were so bogged down on it. But then you learned how to be like, let me just conquer the hyper local. I think you said something like that.
Yeah, you
That's
actually said
Hyper local impact. It's taken off.
Yeah, it's
I coined that term. Yeah.
That's a big
hyper local impact.
Hyper
I said
local
it to him
impact,
in
yeah.
the car when I heard it, like, and I was
Yeah.
like that because we got so bogged down. And I was like,
mentioned
you
it,
take
yeah.
400 or 500 people, even like those people that you have a conversation with in the gym, or people that like we looked up to you when you were in the gym. Like, if you have 100 people like that, that's a lot of people. Like,
Yeah, like put 100 people in a room,
100%.
and it's like, what the fuck? Like,
You're
I'm
making
inspiring
a
so many
massive
people here, or whatever.
impact.
Yeah,
Yeah, and like that's why if you focus on your immediate circle, and
Yeah.
that's where you should focus, I think, not just because because if I hear that someone down the road is doing this, like this podcast, like it's like, oh, maybe I could do a podcast, or maybe
Yeah.
I could start posting stuff, or maybe I can record music. It's more you see what's possible for you if you see, like, if it's more localized, but then also your environment that you're living in, it gets better because hopefully
People
what you're doing, you're inspiring more people, and you're also able to hopefully get to know more people, because I'm hoping through this podcast, for example, as a consequence, it's a bit weird, but people will get to know me more, and then when I see people randomly, there's a potential that they could be more like we could get straight
100%.
into stuff.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I 100% agree. Like, that's what we always say as well. We're like, we might come across this way or that way, but it's about kind of showing people who you are, and you can have the crack, and you can have a good chat. Like, that's all it is. And you say, when people coming up to you, they kind of know you, but they don't know you. You're like, oh, there's that guy who does the podcast, and like you have a chat with him, or there's some guys.
But now there's less barriers to entry.
Exactly.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And imagine. This is what I'm hoping with this podcast. The more people I can get on that are interested in doing it, the more recognisable people become in the town.
Spreads.
Yeah.
And then we just become way more, susceptible to kind of just having conversations randomly, or just having each other's backs in a way.
Yeah.
Because we know there's people out there that are trying to pursue something like that's
exactly.
meaningful, that's hard. And instead of, like, this is actually tying back into what we did at the start, because as soon as I have the conversation with someone in the gym, right, it flips. Suddenly I know that person, and now when I see them lift, I'm like, fair play, like I see them, they're moving up. Instead of thinking like,
you're in it with them, like,
you're in it with them. So this is how we get in it with them. You know what I mean? If there's people that have made up their minds about maybe who we are or whatever, this is a chance, if they ever see a glimpse of it,
that's true.
like, because everybody is like us. As in, we're just people. You know what I mean?
We all have our own little goals, like to set. We all want to reach something.
And
Like,
we all have our fears, worries, doubts, or whatever. But at the end of the day, we're just people, and we're all. If we're living in this little area, I think this hyper local impact is a way, especially for you lads as well. Use our like client facing people. You know what I mean? Use our seeing people. Use have a chance to like to make a massive impact on somebody's life with a bit of information, like what you're saying, trying to make it a lifestyle.
Yeah. That's it. Like, and I always say, like, the PT game and the training game is the same as everything else in life. People are coming to us just to save yourself time, save yourself years of trying to figure it out. Like, when you came to me and trained, like, he actually said it to me a few weeks back. He's like, "Jeez, like, you know, if I didn't have you there, like, I wouldn't have known." I was like, "No, you would have. I just saved you some years of trying to figure shit out." Like. So that's
just sitting there, like.
So, like, there's nothing better than having someone, like, training someone, hearing them. Even people coming up to the gym going, "Oh, we like that," or "We followed your one of your workouts." Like, holy shit, like, you know what I mean? Like, you're making an impact there on someone, and then people get to know you, and they don't feel afraid when they see you in the gym. Like, because I remember when I started, like, you'd see big people around, and you'd almost be intimidated, like.
Oh yeah.
And not everyone's like.
Even on the streets, or like you're saying, or on a night out, like, it's good. People can approach you if they see something like this, or even on your Instagram, and they kind of know you, but they don't, like, and they're coming up there and chatting away to you. I've had it on a few nights out, like, I see your stuff online or whatever, and it's cool. Like, I like that. Yeah. People are approaching you on a night out, but it's kind of like, "Yeah, you're content school, man. I see you in the gym, but I wouldn't talk to you." But with a few drinks, and they're all like, they love you.
It's amazing how many people are kind of in the background. That's why numbers and stuff, it doesn't matter, you know what I mean? And it doesn't matter, as long as if you know that you're doing it, like, your intentions are good, you know what I mean?
Exactly,
it's not, and then sometimes, it's like, it's not just about, like, help people. I like the fact that, like, it's a selfish thing, because I like when I help people. If someone tells me that I gave them this thing that they heard that changed something for them, because that happens, right? Joe, these people that we admire, they said something, like, you know what I mean, that has stuck with us.
Yeah.
I'm like, imagine you've seen that person. I just want to be like, thank you so much for telling me that. You've changed everything, and I'm so happy. But the ideas themselves, they're just, Jordan Peterson says it's real nice, it's the collective ideas of mankind. It's not like we just start coming up with these cool ideas or whatever, just like that. Yeah. It's because millions of years of evolution and all the stuff, like all these microphones, like 100 years ago. Yeah, you know what I mean? All our ideas are basically built upon the shoulders of giants, literally, all our ancestors, whatever. And we're helping the ideas go forward and evolve, whatever. So you don't want to get too tied up in, like, it's technically, even if it's an original idea, it's not really an original idea, because my idea needs to actually use English language, for example. So English is like, nah, it's not something that's concrete, like a pulse, or, you know, it's not actually real, you know what I mean? I wouldn't have been able to have the idea in a particular way. That's just one example of saying it. Yeah. But I think the point that I'm trying to get at is that the impact that we have is we don't even know. We don't even know where. And when we see people, like you're saying, with the drink,
the drink brings out the truth.
Yeah. Like, for me, it's about the younger people, like, personally, and, like, people who are afraid of going to the gym. Like if you're skinny or overweight, like, we have so much admiration when you see those people, because you're like, Jesus, you're showing up, you're trying, like, the guts it takes for someone to go in there, like, 100%. Is ridiculous, like. And it's just like, it's, if you can inspire one of those people, like, and one of those young lads comes up to you in a few years, or young women or whatever, like, and just like, you know, I seen your videos and seen you in the gym, and you know, it made it a little more comfortable for me, or my workouts got a little bit better for you.
It just helped me see things.
Then it pays off, like, and
you know what I mean?
I love that thing you're saying there, like, local. Like, what'd you say? The
hyperlocal impact. Get a tattoo.
Yeah, the hyperlocal impact. I like, it's kind of like, not a virus as such, but like, you're in, so you want to spread it outwards. Like, if you start like 100 kilometers out and work the way back in, you're not going to reach, the impact won't be as big, because people won't know you
100%.
Over in America straight away, but they'll know you in Skerries. So if you start local, obviously, you know, like, and then move out, Lusk, Rush, then you're into Dublin City. And then if you slowly move out, keep creeping out, like, that's literally it.
Exactly.
That's it.
Local is the only thing that you can actually have, you can have the most
impact. Yeah, definitely, like. And
then whatever happens after that. I think local impact is also the most beneficial to the whole project, because, like, even with Sean, right? He's getting messages from people from Zimbabwe and everywhere.
You know you made it when someone from Zimbabwe.
It is class. I'm not saying it's not class. But then what happens when he sees the lad my neighbour, who's down in Supervalu, right? And we're doing the shopping, and he has a job now because of Sean. And he goes, and he's working as a butcher, and he goes, that's because of that man there. Isn't that
it makes
so
you feel
crazy?
Unreal,
yeah, because you can see it. Like it makes you feel a different way.
Man,
Like,
it's insane, and that's what we can do. We can have these moments with people and be like, and then this will create more and more. It's like a constant, and then we're constantly invigorating the town and inspiring over years, a period of years. Who knows what'll happen? You know what I mean?
It's true. Everyone has their own little niche though. Like there's us then, but then there's other. Like who else you have in the town? Like you've so many people like who run restaurants, bars. Like they're kind of impacting people as well. Like it's
who knows all these lads' stories? Like Neil and like you know, even Ollie, like all these people will be unreal. Like if I like this, I'm gonna hopefully venture out into interviewing more people.
I see they have some mad stories. Like
but everyone starts somewhere. Like
everyone starts somewhere. I don't know any like all the big figureheads like in the town. All I can think of is Neil and Mr. Ollie now. You know what I mean? Like but Ollie Grimes. Like they're like legends. You know what I mean?
What
like
about Edco?
Yeah, you said future legends. These came. They've seen the town grow over time, and they've developed over
seriously,
time.
like
They have such a cool story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then like so, there's much more.
Well, then even the people like who aren't even business owners, just the locals, the random guy in the street there who's lived here the last 70 years, like or something, like you know what I mean? Like
that's what I mean.
They know so much.
Who's
like
just willing to come on and talk. That's all. That's all I want. It's like if you want to try out the podcast, then it's like that's all the barrier to entry you need. Because why not get people in, get them to experience it? I think
exactly.
It's a big
you can
thing.
really delve into them and dig shit out. Like you know what you're gonna pull out with someone.
Inspire someone else to do something. Like we said, like if we were debating this for ages, and if we didn't set it up, we wouldn't have had the impact. Like that local impact that we've had, like, and then we probably wouldn't even come on here. Do you know what I mean? So like, if you can just hear something.
So what happened actually? When did it kind of click for you as to say, will we make a page? Will we do that? Like, cause like when does that conversation start?
We were sitting on the fence for so long. Like, I'd always drop Eddie home after the gym, and I'd be like, Eddie, we have to set up an Instagram. Like everyone else is doing it. Why can't we? Like, you know, we're kind of set apart. There's two of us. Like we're always chatting in the car, almost like a mini podcast. We should really set our phone up in the car and just let it record. And like the stuff we'd be saying is mad. Like, you know what I mean? And if someone heard it, it'd be funny. Like, we do. But like that was like I was literally saying we need to get it going. And we're trying to come up with a name, and we're like, what the fuck are we gonna call it? What's the name gonna be? And it's like, what, Eddie, ED, and then my name Colm COs are literally in for Edco. Like. But we were on the fence for so long. So I say about a year easily. But that was a year like you lose out on.
That's
you know what I mean? Like,
and you almost wish now, looking back on it, that we just went with it, because you have the fear when you do these things, like just like the podcast or the busking or whatever, like, and you're like, oh, how are people going to react? How, like, what if they see this? What if this sees this or whatever?
No one cares.
No one cares.
No one cares.
You build up things so much more in your head, like,
I know,
than anyone else does, like.
And there's nothing that will tell you that other than doing the thing. That's the only way to learn.
Put it out and see what happens. Literally, like, what's the worst that could happen?
Exactly. The quicker, if you have something in your heart, like when it becomes something that you're thinking, I need to do this, I should be doing this, then that's the sign. And it's unfortunate that you don't realise until you do it that it wasn't what I thought it was. It wasn't as big as it was, as in my head. It wasn't that scary. And then the other thing as well, that's very interesting, is that, okay, so one thing I noticed was that when I first recorded a song like properly, right, at first I was like, oh, that was my goal. And when I recorded that first song, it was so amazing. Like the first day that I had it, I just drove around for 2 hours singing with myself. I was so happy. I just didn't know where I was going, but I was so happy, right? And that was such a big goal for me to achieve. And then after that, what that opened up the doors to is, oh, now I have this song, I can actually send it to like radio shows and stuff, you know what I mean? That door was completely closed before, but because now I have this thing, this artifact, I can this opens up more doors. So the next, you don't even know, like the next, by opening up an Instagram page, okay, now we have a platform, now we have somewhere to post content,
exactly,
you know what I mean? Now we can do videos, and now we can improve getting videos across, and we can improve our speech, and we can improve our teachings, and we can get it out to more people, you know what I mean? Just by doing it, you know what I mean? But you have to be like, because for me the busking and skerries was similar to like, you know, you're coming out in your town, but the Instagram page must have been like,
But it's like people see that, like everybody that. I'm sure everyone that sees you busking is like, holy shit, I wish I had the balls to do that. You know what I mean? So people do have admiration for stuff like that, but they're just afraid to do the thing. Like that might be busking, but it might be setting up a page. Like you said, like
you can feel it. You know that feeling. You have to do it. It's like if you need to record a video or you need to set that up, you need to set a podcast, you need to set an Instagram up, and you want to send a message, just do it. Like you have that feeling. Like, and we knew, literally sitting in that car every day, coming home from the gym, like. We knew we had some message to give.
And a lot of people were asking us as well, like even like mates and stuff that we had, like, what do you do? What do you work out? And then you talk to them, and like I remember us always going, like, it'd be great to have a platform, and to just post that out. But then we never did it. Like, and I remember the day we did.
Yeah, we're like, oh fuck.
How are people gonna react? Like, how does it work? Like, and then because it's two of us, like, it's even more interesting now. And there's such a benefit to it because, like, obviously we do it as a side thing, like, but like. You know, having that balance, like, you know, I might think of doing something one way, and then you might come in and go, actually, you know what, we could do it this way, or
it's coming up with content here. But it's a tough part as well, like, because Eddie said it's kind of like our side thing. It's hard to come up with content sometimes. Like, we've so much we want to do, but then it's like just need to find the time to do it, or like you
find the time is the hardest bit. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
From what I can see, it's about. There's like the stuff you talked about, basically trying to show people, like give people, like teach a man to fish and like whatever, you know what I mean? You start teaching people how to work out for the rest of their days and hopefully, and just look after themselves. You know what I mean? That's a generally good thing to pass on to people. So, you know, I think there's an infinite amount of content, and you will have your own personal spin on everything as you move through it. And I just think. If you, it's the thing that could block is, now I know it sounds like a good thing now, like the partnership, it's good that he's had the partnership, but what can block it is the decision fatigue sometimes. Because like let's say we do this, and then it's like, oh, actually blah blah, and sometimes there's too much back and forth.
True.
You know what I mean? Instead of like,
it's funny you say that. I don't even think that's never really happened to us yet.
We're quite good in that sense, because one of us will just go, because we have the mentality of, fuck it, let's just do it, like, and see what happens. Do you know what I mean? There's never a bad thing. Like you go, let's do this, and I just go, fuck it, and then I could have the same thing. Like, so we don't really have that, and then on big things, like it's actually quite good the way it works out. Like, let's say training someone, like, and they come at you with certain questions, or maybe you're trying to figure out what nutrition plans work, what diet plans work, what workout plans. Like, it's great pushing and pulling, and you never, like, because you're just like, look, try it and see what happens. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have that.
We've actually never had a little fight or anything. We've never kind of like, we've always
not yet.
Not yet. Nothing has ever come between us. Like,
that's good, and I think so. To have that kind of the way you broke it down there was really good. To be able to iterate and experiment on new stuff, like just be like, let's just try this and let's just see if it works. That's where you want to be. You know what I mean as well. And then the partnership really shines when. You know, if you're trying to really get, because two brains are obviously better than one when it comes to making ideas and seeing it from more angles, you know what I mean? So that's where you get the value of, and then when, being able to just like have someone that you can say, hold on, this person's up for this thing, like, does this make sense to you? You know what I mean? Because it's serious stuff as well. You don't want to kind of lead people down the wrong road.
No, definitely not. Because I'd be texting Eddie sometimes, like, even though he said two minds can be a lot though, I text him an idea and then we go off on a mad tangent, like, want to set your own business is up or whatever you want to do, like, you can go and we talk some mad stuff, like.
No, just have a good dynamic. It's just like, it's always like, there's just there's more consideration, so what I mean? Sometimes there's, you know, I just worked in, like, my last company when I was in London. It's mainly for, like, when it comes to, there's too many people. Maybe when it gets too many, like, when you're coming to design something, and then everyone has to see the design, and then it doesn't really matter because you just had to release the thing, and you would have learned more from just releasing it. You know what I mean?
It's like that initial podcast you were talking about. The Follies couldn't even come up with a name. Like, that's it. You need someone to take charge when it's a group like that. You even see it in work. Like, people pass around things, but there's always that one person, and they're usually generally the top dog who goes, we're doing this, and that's it, and everyone just goes.
And everyone just says fine because that's what it was. But it becomes.
But are people sitting back, like, are they waiting for someone to make that decision?
Sometimes, because it's a lot of responsibility though to take that up. Like you take it on you then if it goes arseways. Like,
or it's just whatever the dynamic is. It's like no one has been sort of awarded the ability to just choose to do it. You know what I mean? Because we all had to. We all had to. For me, it was in that instance with the podcast, we all had to decide on a name. So we couldn't actually release it unless we decided on a name. And I was going hard on the names, right? We had docs, Google Docs, and I kept pushing. I was like, I like this one. This is my top 3. Well, I was trying to get it.
Let's go, like, yeah.
But everyone had a different take on the names. You know what I mean? And it was just so impossible. But because we were all equal kind of members in it, you know what I mean? And no one was kind of you couldn't really do it if no one was on board in that case, you know what I mean? There's just something about it. I think 4 people is probably too much, because then it would have to be 4 of us every podcast, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a lot to kind of...
It wouldn't be a game, there'd be no, and like you probably could do, you know, I think we did have the idea where this was so many years ago, you know what I mean, that we would have had like different groups of different people, you know what I mean?
I get you, yeah.
But you know, this dynamic with me just doing it now, it's like there's so many little things to take care of, you know what I mean? Uploading the pictures and audio technology and everything that like I'm the kind of person I love having like control over every little thing, you know what I mean? Like that's just for me, like I'm like
true,
I love having the final say, you know what I mean? I like just like
he's the same. You send them off and you're like, right, we're ready to go, and you gotta read every word again.
Am I spelling that right? Is that right? Or like whatever. It's kind of like whatever picture, video you're putting up. I'm really like, I have to be nearly there to post it. I have to be there to do it. Like,
hold on.
Like, hold on, don't do it.
Yeah. Like so, you just have to be aware that that sometimes there's like the benefits and challenges of like every type of dynamic. You know, in my dynamic, I don't have. It's slower to get things done because the load isn't shared, and I probably haven't seen it from enough angles. You know what I mean?
But, true. You have someone there being like, "Well, why don't we do it this way?"
Yeah.
You can be doing it one way for a year. That's wrong, and then all of a sudden someone says something to you, and it changes the game for you.
Or like, sees how I was doing
setup or whatever.
And says, "Hold on, what was this thing? Like that's a bit weird." But then there's also I can iterate quickly. So there's benefits to and challenges to like every kind of dynamic, you know what I mean? But it's just good to be aware of them and aware of where like the blocks for me it's like up like which I'll probably eventually outsource. Like the first one is just like, you know, I give them all the content find someone on Fiverr, a media manager that and they upload it everywhere, you know what I mean? So that's obviously there's loads of sore points.
Used it a few times.
And then so it's like you just have to be aware of the pain points, you know what I mean? If there's problems, let's say for example, if you think you aren't iterating or you think you aren't producing enough, but you have to, you know, you overthink. Just don't overthink things too much. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that he's even are. But that's the only problem I think is as you add more people, the thinking becomes too much and the action and the stuff becomes less. You know what I mean? But just going back to the client stuff. Or the student stuff. Like
students, clients, it can be both.
What makes a good client for you?
Kind of someone, not that does everything we tell them to do, but along the guidelines, along kind of the lines of what we're saying, tell them to do. Like, they don't have to be so strict.
Yeah, but like, I think it's...
But what makes a bad client?
Is someone generally who's bad in our opinion anyway, is they ask you for something and they don't follow it at all. Like,
they do the opposite.
They do the opposite, or they don't communicate enough. Like they come at the end of the week when you're talking to them and check in, and we check in with people all throughout the week. Like, but if they save it till the end of the week to tell us this wasn't working or they didn't feel that, or you know, they were struggling with that meal. That's like, you know, bring that to our attention as we go along, and then we can change it, move around.
We're with them. We're in the journey with them, like, for however long it is. Like, we're with you. Like, text us. Let us know how you're feeling and getting on. Like, that's what we're there for. Like,
but it is, like, the big one is when people bullshit you, like, as well, and then they don't follow what you're telling them to do. And it's like, come on, like, you have to.
What kind of bullshit?
It's just like. We're getting in now. It's like when people telling you that they've say followed a certain thing for the week and then they're not reaching their goal and they're not hitting it, and you're just like, this has been working for the last maybe week or 2 weeks, like, and the third week something goes wrong, and it always is the case. Then later on we find out that it was that thing, they just didn't want to tell us.
Even something simple, like, it's like a workout. It's like if you're doing, they tell you to do a certain amount of reps or whatever, a set, and they're going off and they're doing something completely different. and they're telling you, and it's kind of like.
But they don't ask you why. There's a method to things that you do.
We're not just giving you a random thing because it looks good.
Yeah.
It's not like there's a reasoning behind it. Like it's like everything in life as well.
If they just ask you, then you can explain to them, and then they can because we love talking about it and teaching people stuff. So I think that's
like I don't know why you're coming to us if you're not going to listen.
And it's like if you pay someone for something and you're not going to stick to it, that has the possibility to change the rest of your life. Like, you know, if you get in these good habits, and you know, we all know the benefits of working out. There's a couple of negatives there, but you know,
maybe upside.
Like if you're willing to learn, and you're someone who's willing to experiment as well with your body, because that's what training is, right? Like. Then,
like that person as well, like when you're talking to them, it could just be the person, like they might not be able to take the information in properly or talk to you, but it's almost like a good client is almost having a chat as well. Like a lot of people we can have a seriously good conversation with, like and they can uphold, like you can chat to them in the gym, chat to them outside, no problem. But there's some people you talk to and they can't even, they don't know what to be saying.
Like for me, a good client is definitely obviously someone who follows what you tell them to do, and then that you can that is good crack communication, because we want to get to know.
That's a plus. That's
a plus. But a good client listens to what you're telling them to do, asks a lot of questions, because we love when people ask us questions and stuff, and go, look, why are we doing this? Like, why are we eating this amount? Like, what's the reasoning behind this? Because then you can teach them, and then they'll remember it, hopefully, for themselves.
But everyone's different. It really shows you the amount of different type of people that are out there in the world. When you kind of get into the business, or even like you see yourself with podcasting as well, like the amount of different people like you come across, like different backgrounds, kind of different ways of thinking, like how they're raised. Like it does, like, and that contributes to everything.
But there is a dangerous side to coaching, like as well, like for that's out there, like, and you know. You have to be aware of that as well, like, because obviously social media and what's been prevalent the last while is getting really really ridiculously lean, or you know, having these influences on you isn't always a good thing as well, because you'll point to that and go, that's what I want to get to, and
like an unhealthy influence.
Yeah, like, and then you cut yourself down, like you get on these ridiculously low calorie plans, high cardio, you know, to match that look for that date or for that whatever. And then at the end of it, like you'll probably come out and it wasn't worth it, like, and
it's
then
not
you come
maintainable.
No. So that's what we try to teach the people, like.
You should have to maintain that, like it's a lifestyle, like we keep saying, it is a lifestyle, like it's literally, it's not about going to the gym and doing cardio, and I hate keep talking about the gym and stuff, like, but you can have your drinks on the weekend, like I keep saying, like you
loves his drink.
I love it.
You can all free,
because I do like a drink on the weekend.
Eddie
then, like, you don't really drink too much, do you? Like I kind of gone away from drinking though. I haven't really drank in ages. It doesn't agree with me anymore. 2 drinks and I'm gone. I'm hungover to bits the next morning.
Yeah, the hangovers. I just don't drink.
Getting too old.
Like that, basically.
Well,
you've a few more years left.
I know.
Then you'll be like, don't be drinking.
But it's good networking though. Going out, like you have to socialise. Like it's very good networking. Like
that's the part of it as well that I realised when COVID was over, when I started going out but not drinking. You know what I mean? And seeing people, and then seeing people like, oh jeez, I seen you doing that thing, and then I'm like, oh, I heard you were doing this thing, and then like realised, oh, I haven't seen these people in years. You know what I mean? And then
we always say, like, on Christmas, you know, when you go out on Christmas, like everyone's out, we haven't seen someone in a year, and everyone's like, oh, you doing this year or whatever, like, and it's almost like a yearly recap when you talk to someone, like, it's mad. They're almost telling you what you've done throughout the year, and it's like, yeah, I did do that, didn't I?
And now they're reeling in the years, like.
Yeah, it's literally like reeling in the years.
But like, yeah, it is interesting, like, and like I think the PT game and you know, having clients and stuff like that is a great way to meet different people, like, and we learn a lot from it as well, like just meeting different people, nothing to do with training, just how to talk to people, how to build up that networking, and then you're one person away from 10 people, and then those 10 people are away from another 10, and that's all it takes, like, so like. True.
And then what's your yoke? Your local
Hyperlocal impact.
Hyperlocal impact. That's it going then. It's going out and out and out. Like you're spreading. You're spreading the Edco.
And then, or whatever it is, whatever disease you might have.
Whatever disease, whatever you want to spread.
But it's so interesting actually, just on talking and the meta skills of like being a PT. You know what I mean? And it's hard as well when you were saying that, you know, what a good client is, you know, they're curious potentially, you know what I mean? Curiosity, I think, will get you so far in life. I think that's what we need to teach children. Because teach them to be curious, because that curiosity is kind of what I see as the key to everything. That unlocks everything, because questions are really the way to unlock the answers, you know what I mean? But it can be hard, you know, you get off the couch, whatever, you decided I'm going to do PT, and maybe you're doing it, maybe you're seeing pictures of transformations and you just think, and you look down and like whatever, like you're feeling down, and then you go, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to get going, and you know, you're self-conscious about it as well, so it's like there's a dance between the PT and the client in a way.
I always say to Colm like that, like you almost have to take it sometimes that people aren't as motivated as we are, like, and we've been doing it for so long that we'd work the whole day, you'd get back, you'd have that 40 minutes and you leg it down and get it done, like, where some people, they don't have that yet.
That knocked them off the bandwagon for like a week or two, like.
So like that's what we always have to remember sometimes, like, people need a motivational push and they need someone to be understanding. It's all right to have a week off as well, where you know, you're not on the bandwagon, and it will be challenging and hard, like, but nothing worth having comes easy. That cliche saying, like, it's always the way. And if you're someone who's never been in before and now you want to get on this journey, you know, it's going to take time and a bit of effort, and you will have slip ups like a career, like, until you get to where you want to be, and then you go from there, like, and you begin to be curious yourself, like, and then you get into it, and then it becomes a sort of that habit, like, that healthy habit.
So in the beginning, like, I think you're touching on so much good stuff here that I think it's like the question then is how do you sort of, you have to try and instill this at the beginning or throughout, you know, like so when you meet someone, and I'm sure you have had clients already and stuff, but you know, you'll get familiar with, okay, this is type of client, they need a bit more push in this, they need to know like how my policy is on. Everyone I think should know the policy on honesty. Like, honesty is a real important one. It's just like somehow you have to frame it in a way. It's like, look, the most important thing is that we need to be completely honest with each other. And it doesn't matter if, you know, if you're not feeling something or you didn't do something or whatever. The more, if you're honest with me, it doesn't, like, there's not like, whatever happens, you know what I mean? You're not going to get in trouble, you know what I mean? I think that's kind of like, it's when
school,
it's like such a good, like, if you can kind of instill it, you're not going to get in trouble, and it's actually more beneficial if you tell them, because then we can make the proper adjustments, because it's like, you had to, let's say you didn't do the thing or whatever, it's like, okay, well, what's the core problem there? Like, is the thing too hard? Did you not understand it? You know, did something happen? Like, there's many reasons. It's not just like you just didn't listen. Bitch.
But it's about being honest. Like you said, like, you're talking to like so many people. I give you a story. Like, literally, one lad was like, he's like, I'm just not losing weight. He's like, I'm training flat out all week, and I'm like, well, what are you training? Blah blah. Training good. What are you eating? Not much. I was like, what are you eating Saturday, the weekends? I'm just a chipper, like, and it's like, well, what else are you eating? He's like, I actually have a takeaway every night. I'm telling you, every night. And I'm like, there's your problem, like. That's why you're not losing the weight, like. And that's being honest. It's got, you have to dig it out with people. You have to pull it out of them, like.
Because it's embarrassing to say.
Yeah, but like, people need to understand it. You're not going to get in trouble, like. We're there, like, with the people that are with us, like these clients or students, right?
Students.
And you work with them, and then you find out what makes them tick, and that's important, like, for people, like, because if it's weight and it's numbers, that's brilliant then, because all you care about, and every time you have a bad thing or something's gonna, you know, go wrong, you have to bring that back to your head, like, similar to what we do, like, we all have our own goals, and sometimes you just need that to pick you up when things are going down, like. But you're not going to get in trouble, like, if you have a bad day or bad week, unless you're having takeaways every night.
But it's hard just because it's not just even in that instance where you lie like that. Like, if I was having a chipper every night, you know, I wouldn't be telling really anybody that.
But that's why.
It's a bit embarrassing.
Yeah,
I mean,
some
like,
people
I know this is wrong.
Yeah.
I know that delivery driver's getting to know me a bit too well, and they know my order. And it's like, I need to do something here.
If you had the podcast,
Yeah, like,
That's a good
this
one.
is my delivery driver.
The delivery driver on the podcast.
Yeah, that would be class, actually, if they're interested. If they're out there. Who's my
Any delivery
favourite?
drivers. Mario's.
I love that. That Bombay House, man. That has my favourite. That
You'd be like Joe
Here,
Rogan.
bring
Old
free
school. Remember,
food
we used to
with
have
you.
ads like during the podcast.
Yeah.
Bring it in
Bombay
food.
House, new special.
Yeah, we'll see. Like, but there's something in it. Like me and Sean will experience. Like if I've fallen, like let's say if I'm in the shop or I go to drive to McDonald's or something, like I don't want to be telling like I'll be like, oh, Sean caught me with the bag now. I'll be so embarrassed. So I'll stop at like at a different bin. That's miles out.
Yeah.
Stop like I don't throw the rubbish in a different bin just so he doesn't see the bag. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's about holding yourself accountable. Like it's accountability. Like
It's not about being perfect. It's about being
I know,
consistent.
exactly. Yeah.
It's about being consistent with it. Like, and if you have like, especially when you're starting off, like if you have 6 good days and you have one bad day, you can recover. That's a win. Like, do you know what I mean? Or if you can get a certain amount of good meals in and you have 1 or 2 bad meals, but you're still losing weight or on that journey, that's okay. Like, because that is what a life journey is. It's not about being strict 24/7, 7 days a week. You can't break free from it, because then once people do, they tend to slip up a very bad way.
Yeah. Oh, when you slip up after you've been on a good, like, right? Like, me and Sean, we're on a bet now, like, where we're off loads of stuff.
Right.
But we did one, like, it could have been a year or 2 ago, where we didn't eat, like, takeaways, have coffees, have sweets for, like, 3 months or something it was. And then, but we had the mega cheat day planned.
Yeah.
And, like, we started off, I made apple tarts for myself the night before. I woke up, like, it was like 6:30 in the morning, apple tart and cream, right? Starting off like that, right? Yeah. And then I had, like, Doritos, I had Coke, I had loads of... Then we cycled to the chuck wagon, got a big juicy chuck wagon, cycled to Scrum Diddley's somewhere else.
You done the loop?
And, like, we were eating so much. Like, before 12 o'clock at night, I was, like, sucking on my last bit of apple tart and cream.
In bits.
We had made... Yeah, I was in... I was, like... I was dying. Yeah. But because we'd set it up like mega cheat day as this thing, which it was class. It was cool to have done it, to like experience what it's like to go like not just like a little
cold
cheat
turkey,
meal,
like,
but to cold turkey, and then like it was like Christmas Day. I couldn't stop thinking about it. Became too much. But I think it's. You know, looking back, it was good to do once to experience that level of gluttony, to eat just whatever, go beyond.
But that's why people have like cheat meals and stuff like once a week or Saturday or Sunday.
Like, are fun. This was more like just like a
mega cheat calorie challenge.
This was like the next thing. The most calories I've ever eaten in a day. It had to be. But I think what I found with me and Sean, like we make little bets. That's what helps. Like that social proof of, like, you know, we're not gonna do this now. We're not gonna get takeaways or whatever. And like we shook on it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, how do you keep each other? Like, especially if you're in the gym, these are partners and stuff. Like I suppose accountability and sort of even like I think there's like me and Sean keep each other, we push each other to, like, without even saying it, to work more. You know what I mean? Because if I see him doing stuff, I'm like, what am I doing with my day? So it's like this competition, not really competition, but it's like and it is kind of though, because it's like I need to step up my game.
But you see him pumping out that content or like making all that stuff, you feel like, well, I have to do that. Like,
what am I doing? With
myself?
What
am I doing? Like, it's motivating you nearly, like
100%.
I mean, Eddie, I suppose, like, I don't know, I just don't want to probably let each other down nearly.
And
but then you have clients. If your clients are working for you, if you have people like doing what you're telling them to do, you have to practice what you preach. So like you really have to kind of.
But we're normal people as well. Like we just have the exact same problems, the exact same urges, everything that everyone else does. Like, doesn't make us any different. Like, and like everyone that you see in the gym is like that. We all have the exact same urges and struggles, and there's days where you don't want to do it. And like how we sort of, I think, just keep each other going is like, we try and maintain good physiques all year round as well. Like, so we try to stay relatively lean, just because obviously the page and what we're doing, and like if you see one of us spilling over or the other one spilling over, it's like, okay,
call them out.
Yeah, you call each other out, or it's like, oh, I'm having a cheat day or cheat meal. What are you doing? It's like you're waiting for it to justify it.
Almost justify it.
It's like Josh sending a sly text and a voice note. pizza.
I'll be like, pizza tonight. I'm like, fuck it, sound
You have to be on it as well.
Yeah, that's it.
Or like if they miss the gym, you're like, all right, it's grand if I miss it today.
Yeah.
Like, or sort of thing. Like,
that's it's literally, if you're on it together, it's like, that's all right. Like,
it's all right. The 2 weeks are together.
Yeah, eating the pizzas or the ice cream or whatever. Like,
but when the other person doesn't, then it's like, then makes you reevaluate what you're gonna do. Even, you know what I mean?
Like if I'm out eating, I'd be trying to like say to Eddie, like, oh, I'm after eating that shite there. Like, just like.
But I'm always like, geez, it's one meal. It's not gonna do anything to you.
And like we're so like we and Sean have been, we've been through this before. And like it becomes a bit too. It became a bit too much. Like,
it does.
Every day, like we're always. Well, I was saying it. I was always kind of like, you know, if we did something like a little whatever, it was always commenting, always saying it. Where it became like, you know, it became toxic like, in a way.
It does become.
You know
toxic.
What I mean?
Yeah.
Like where like it becomes toxic for you, like how you view what you're doing as well. You know what I mean? Because you do have to give it's not like. As long as you're kind of, you know, your overall trajectory is positive. Yeah. Like it's okay to slip. It's not even slipping up. It's just living. You have to live sometimes.
You have to like.
Yeah.
And like it's so hard when you start cracking that whip. You know, too hard basically. You know what I mean? If you when you come down these health journeys or whatever, then you're like, oh, well, you're measuring yourself against all these things, like, well, obviously I don't want to eat that, I should be working out, whatever. And then when you don't live up to that, it's very negative, like, image of yourself you have, you know what I mean?
It takes so long to lose it though. Like, I went on a binge for like a week nearly when I came back from overseas. Like, I went over to Amsterdam and stuff. Like, I went on eating McDonald's, KFC, everything for nearly like a week. And nothing changed. It's like the body takes so much. Like,
I said, I said that to you, like, as well, like, because I do it, like, we do it when you're away, but the main thing is that you continue to train, or when you come back, you get back on that bandwagon. And like the reason probably we don't have that is, first of all, these are brothers, and when you're brothers, it's a different kind of rivalry, right? But like, we're mates first, then we're training partner second, and then we train people third. Kind of thing, like, and that's how we rank it, and we always keep it like that. Like, so there's none of that like unhealthy competition, or where we're like trying to outdo one another. You're just trying to sort of get the most out of it.
That's good.
Trying to encourage each other.
We explore things as well. Like, we're still learning. Like now, like he'd read something, or I'd read something like, let's try this out, or let's try eating this, or let's try cut out X amount of caffeine. Like, and then like you push and pull off each other as well. Like.
There's so many things you kind of want to do, kind of avenues and stuff, but it's about literally just doing it. Like, same with the Instagram, we're on the fence. But it's making them moves.
Just new stuff.
Just kind of new things.
Is there anything on your mind now at this point? They don't want to give too much away, or is there anything?
Well, like,
is it the Edco podcast? Is it the like?
Could be. That's what I'm saying. We're always in the car chatting away.
Oh yeah.
I need to get something literally just to put up and then throw it out, like something different, like in a car, like, you know, podcast in the car or something, like literally, like
100%. You can get a decent, even your microphones are pretty good these days.
True.
And you can get software that will just automatically do some improvements, whatever, you know what I mean? And there's a difference to the conversations that you have versus when the red light is on, let's say, you know what I mean? Because we know we're being recorded now, you know what I mean? That sets a different tone.
It does.
What the way I was thinking about it, what I want to think about now, actually, so we were at a wedding recently, you know what I mean? A wedding, you're wearing your suit, you're looking as good as you're trying to look your best at the wedding, you know what I mean? You're putting your best foot forward, you know what I mean? You're not just like, you're not gonna deal with stains, or you're not gonna wear tracksuit bottoms, like, you're gonna make sure your hair was like conditioned a bit, you know what I mean? And that's the kind of same with this. When you know you're being recorded, you're trying. Well, I'm trying to put my best foot forward that I can. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, this is something that I hope to look back at, that I'm going to be proud of, and there's going to be value in.
You gave it your all. That's what we're saying. Like, we don't want to kind of be 30 years of age and look back and be like, why didn't we try that? Like, another thing, like, say like a YouTube or something, like, why didn't we just record everything? You know, like, people probably live mad interesting lives and they just don't record it, and it's not out there, so no one can see it. But you know, these people who do this on YouTube and stuff, they live mad lives. All they do is they record it, throw it out, and it does so well. But it's not trying to be like all up in your face. It's just showing you your inside your life nearly.
And if people have an interest, they'll look into it.
Yeah,
as well. Like, and you'd be surprised. That's that local thing.
That's Hyperlocal.
You will have your own, like, the beautiful thing about any creative endeavor or pursuit is that nobody will ever do it the way you do it.
Yeah.
If you follow, what we do is we look out, we see, okay, that's kind of what they're doing, that's kind of what they're doing. But we all have a personal taste, you know what I mean? Like your cup of tea is different than his cup of tea. And your taste, that's what actually makes, like for me when I'm writing music, when I write a sentence, I have a particular taste for a different taste than you might have for a sentence. And that's what makes my music.
Exactly.
So your content will always be your content, you know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
And it's always unique. So it's a
unique.
real powerful kind of thing to realise is that you're always bringing something unique to the table. And I think you should definitely just experiment with more, you know what I mean? You've already put yourselves out there in such a big way. And I think the fitness, it's really hard to, like, when you have to like pose and stuff, it's like it freaks me out. Like I think fair fucking play to these lads. You know what I mean? They're putting themselves like out there for what, as I can see on Instagram.
Yeah.
And it's like how much further can you do it? You know what I mean? And then the next version of yous is out there somewhere. You know what I mean? And they've come through even more blocks. Like, so whatever's kind of in your heart. You know what I mean? And like, I'm always trying to find the next thing. Like the next thing for me is like whatever, like gigs or trying to get like something going like in a local. Like I was talking to the coast before Christmas. I'd love to get like a karaoke night going. You know what I mean? To MC it like, and it'd be just like that's like that freaks me out.
No perfect person though to do it. Like you're so out there. How would that? Like that'd be easy for you.
No, yeah, but I love. I was at a wedding. That wedding I was at, I actually wrote a song for the wedding.
Yeah,
I sang it, and then the band asked me up towards the end. I got up with the band, I was singing. The next day I actually got karaoke on and stuff, so I love getting people to experience like this. There's a part of me that's like, this is class. These lads, I got these lads on to have a conversation in my room, and they got to experience this. And like now, who knows what, like that might flick things. They'll listen back and they'll think, Jesus, if I double down on what I said there, like, and then you'd look at yourself, and it's like with karaoke, you might think, oh, it's just karaoke. You might think, but getting up in front of people and singing, and when people are like, oh, I don't want to do it. Like at the start, at the wedding, it was day 2 of the wedding. I was getting up and I was just going off on one or whatever, and then my brother got up. I knew he was going to get up, you know what I mean? And then other people start getting up, and then suddenly there's a queue, and then there's sisters singing and having a moment, you know what I mean? And
people get comfortable like seeing other people going to come in. It's all about
it's like when you're walking down Grafton Street or whatever, anywhere you are, right? If you see someone doing something entertaining and there's 2 people standing there, you sort of walk by. But if you see a crowd, you're like, what's this?
What's going on here?
Like, so it takes that one person, 2 person.
Kind of like,
it is. So if you see everyone doing karaoke,
we all start looking up in the sky. Someone would be like, "What's that?"
Yeah, what's going on? Barely.
But there's something powerful in that. Because people always say they can't sing, right? That's their first thing, but they don't realise that when we're talking, we're singing. You know what I mean? You actually play what I'm saying right now on a piano if you wanted to. You know what I mean? It's just it's
a good way of thinking about it.
It is. We're always singing. Speech came before singing.
Yeah.
And people we're just shy. I couldn't sing for years. Like I couldn't even sing in front of my girlfriend at the time. I was super close with. I couldn't. So I've broken through. Massive long way. The shame of singing is gone. But even Mirza, he got up and he did karaoke down at the harbour. I could not believe it. He's massively introverted, and he was like, he's gonna do it. Like him and Sean. And I had the video. I forget what song it is. But I was like, fucking fair play.
Yeah,
he did it.
That's it.
He did it, because life's too short, man. You know what I mean?
We were only talking about that. It's like, life's too short to be kind of sitting back and not doing anything about like what we want to do, like pursue. We were only saying that yesterday.
Yeah, like you really need to, like in anything you're doing now, like
you never know when you're going to get bad news or whatever's going to happen to you. Like,
just go and do it. Like I'm not like singing is one thing that's tough. Like I get up and speak in front of however many people, and it wouldn't faze me, even things like this. But singing, it's like I think it's like an unknown territory for people, isn't it? Because you're like, it's a different kind of fear.
He's a good singer. I've heard him sing.
Like in fairness, like for me, it's easier because I practice like nearly daily. Like and then I've learned like vocal range. Like everyone has a range. You know what I mean? Everyone thinks we can't sing like Michael Jackson because he's singing in a different vocal range.
Yeah.
If we can change the key of a song, so everyone can sing Billie Jean, even if it's Billie Jean is not my, like that's someone's range, and then someone's range is Billie Jean is not. But like your range is somewhere. Everyone has a range.
Yeah.
But most songs are not in your range, but when you're on an instrument, you can sing, you can change the key of a song. So basically, everyone can sing every song they want to. You know what I mean? But it's about finding that key.
It's utilising like your own voice. Like it's about perfecting it.
Yeah,
like
and you practice. You learn your voice. I'm still learning things.
Yeah.
Like even how I pronounce or how much power I give a word. It's hard for me to explain. I can't take an example, but for some reason, like let's say Lee. Like when I say Lee. I was putting too much harshness on the Lee, and if I put less on it, it sounds nicer. Like that, I can't really explain it.
Yeah,
but if there's certain sounds that if I go full, it doesn't sound as nice. But if I don't go full, it's actually better.
Yeah.
So you're always learning. But the one thing that I just want to pull back there is that life is too short. Like it's like it's not even if it was 1,000 years it would be too short. The point is that it's finite. It comes to an end. And that's like such a vicious realization. Like I only recently enough you know, I smoke weed every now and again, you know what I mean? But this was one night I don't know when it was. It was after, I got weed for the wedding. I didn't even end up smoking it at the wedding. Yeah. But so I had it there, right, and I was like, right, I'm gonna smoke some tonight. But I was in bed, and there's something about weed that shows you how heavy it is that we're gonna die. Like it puts it on it, like you see it for what it is. It's like, oh wow, this does come to an end. Like I've lived 30 years now, and that means like I look back and I think, 30 years. I get to do that maybe 2 or 3 more times. 3 more times, I'd be 120. That's class. You know what I mean? Who knows? But,
you're never gonna die.
But it's like when I reach 60 or when I reach 90, I'm just gonna think like it's gonna be the same feeling that I have now. I'd lived them years. Every day we have a handful of days, and we're just basically throwing them away every day.
Yeah, like you know when like something's on next week, you're like, oh, it's on next Wednesday, and you just. The whole week's gone, and it's already like a week gone by. Like, what'd you do with that week?
I know.
I waited for one day, like, or waiting for a holiday or something.
You never realise things until you do them. It's kind of like the page, kind of like the podcast and the singing. You only realise afterwards. You're like, shit, I should have done that earlier. Yeah. But it's only after the fact, and I get into that as well. Like, as in, like, where you're stressing about one small thing, and then I get in my head, I'm like, shit, like, you're only here for however long. Like, at the end of the road, there is no end of the road. So why is this little small thing making me feel like that or in that way? And then if you just go and do that, you actually come out of it so much better. Like, and it's a different way of thinking, but you're just like, shit, if I could think like that all the time, imagine what you could get done. Like, because you wouldn't give a shit about social media, anyone's opinion, bar like those people.
I think that's what these people are doing though. Like, that's literally the way they live. Like, it's like I could be dead tomorrow. I'm just gonna do what I have to do. Like, I'd love to just leave my job, sell everything, and just move over to somewhere sunny and live there, like, and do what I love doing. It's like training people, like working in the gym or whatever. I know it sounds a bit like stupid or whatever, but if that makes me happy, then why not? Like, and then you know you could be doing it. You never know where it's going to take you either. Like,
and your happiness isn't based on anything other than you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like everyone's happiness is different. There's no metric.
You need to find that as well.
What
like,
you need to do. So if you find in your day-to-day operation as a fucking as a PT or a coach or whatever that you're happy, it's like, well, that's all you can ask for.
Yeah, exactly.
When you look back at your days, it's like, oh, that was a happy day.
Yeah.
That was a happy day as well. That's actually all that really matters.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna have some terrible days.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
True.
Yeah. But everyone's what makes everyone happy is gonna be different. You know what I mean? There's no right or wrong answer.
No.
And there's nothing we need to do. And I think that when we get it messed, but you can create that life for you, slowly. Like now, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
as you're
right.
doing, you're on that pursuit. It's not like you have to go to like you don't have to sell it all.
No, you're right. You don't have to jump ship now.
Yeah, you don't have to do everything now.
But that's the kind of the way we're looking at it as well. It's like slowly get there. Like it's slowly you will get there. We just keep tipping away at it, keep chipping away at it. Like
the person that gets it eventually is going to be different than the person now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to go through the stuff, and you're going to be a different person. And it's like, why do you any rush for it as well?
Like if you just made it out of nowhere, you'd be completely different. Like imagine you just had 1 million subscribers on YouTube to your podcast. You'd be like, all right,
it's
like,
the journey. Like.
Yeah, it's the journey.
You're gonna have more. You're gonna need, and when you get to that other thing, there's gonna be more.
Yeah,
so
true.
You just have to pursue and be happy with the pursuit and not get too bogged down. Once you have like enough money, you know what I mean? Like, for me, because I'm contracted now, I was doing the programming, and like the money's just great. Like so, I'm just like I'm so happy now, and like I'm just pursuing these things, and this is fine for now. And there's not much. Like, even if I got more money, that wouldn't actually make me better or make me happier. Because I actually still would want to be doing this. How could I? Like, no amount of money would be able to like. Yeah. I wouldn't be able to, and I'd still have to learn the guitar. I'd still have to. Like, you know, sing. You know what I mean? There's no amount of money that could like.
That's stuff you have to do. Money won't like do that for you.
Exactly.
Like, you have to do that. Like,
and training people and showing people and putting out content. Like money doesn't make any of them things.
It's kind of
always
comes with it eventually. Like
Exactly. If it comes, it comes. You know what I mean? And that's something when you. The more you experiment with what you're offering the world, the more the world will start to kind of give back in a way. You know what I mean? In many ways, you know what I mean?
Well, definitely, like money is kind of it's the avenue you can go.
But like what you're talking about there is like relationship building, things like that. Like we were experimenting by yourself, like singing. You learning all those different traits and putting yourself out there. Money doesn't give you that. Like
no.
Yeah.
You still have to get good at something. You have to do.
You have
the thing.
to learn it. Yeah.
You can't just inject yourself with like the thing. That's when I realized that it was a few years ago. And I was like, no amount of money could make me better at guitar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is when I was
it's
really
up to
starting.
you, like.
Yeah, I have to put the time in.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's crazy. It's crazy to think that just like the pursuit of money, you could in a clear way, isn't the answer. You know what I mean? Like it's good. I think money's good when you can get enough. You know, it's not a worry.
Yeah, like you're comfortable, like.
Yeah, when you're not when you're worried about. So I think worry, like growing up in this house, you know, it was always like like we fucking money causes so much stress for families. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like when you don't have it, and it's like you know, if I give him 20 or if I give him like then we can't pay bills, and like you can't have stuff when your friends might have stuff or whatever, and it causes so much like stress. You know what I mean? So if we could get everyone to like that like good level of like just survival.
But like I then you have to take it back. You're like. It taught you so many lessons subconsciously though. I think it did, like although like
you're right,
like in the background though, it did teach you something like
like I never got 20 pocket money or anything like that.
Yeah,
like, do you know what I mean? People be going out like in 50s and 20s.
Yeah.
But major work, like we worked from such a young age, like even with Bob's Casino, like
remember that? Yeah.
We worked in Bob's Casino for maybe like a summer or two, like cashing on, making the cash, like other people never worked a day in their life as a kid, like we were actually only saying that we worked as soon as we could have, like 15, 16 or whatever it was in that summer, like
and then we went from there, like
like we were always working.
Once you like you start earning your own money, and you can find that time, like, and like it's so useful as well, like especially being a student or even early days in college, like utilising that time more. Like all we cared about was the gym, working, your studies. And then if you wanted to go out, you could, like. But it taught you a lot of lessons, like, and it taught you how to utilise your time. Because then when you come out of college, if that's what you want to do, you realise how much time you have then. Because all you're doing is devoting your life then to work, like. Like, all you have is that then Monday to Friday, like. Whereas I remember days in college where, like, you'd be flat out throughout the whole week, then you'd be working when you couldn't, and you had, like, no time, but it was grand, like. Yeah. And then when I finised and came out, I was like, shit, I have loads of time now, like, this is great, like.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you always worked though. You were working always, even in college and stuff. Like,
so we're always like that, like though.
Like people be in college these days and they don't even work. They're not working part-time jobs. I remember back in the day, like you flat out, like
even in school,
I was getting like fucking the government was giving us. We were actually making. When I was in college, I was getting like orphans allowance, like for me, Sean and Orla. So like. It's fucked up, but we were actually making like a good bit of money for the situation, so it made us not work, and it made us look at things. And I think there's there's such a value in earning your own money, but also I think even in paying for college. You know what I mean? I didn't pay for the college that I did, and I think that made me. I didn't respect it as much as I should have.
It's pay for the masters. Yeah. I had that situation for the masters.
Oh, so you paid for it?
Yeah, and it was just like it was a different kind of. You want to get as much out of it then, like especially when you do it yourself, like. And if you have that luxury that like you know,
just got handed this thing,
like you take advantage of it. You're right. You don't look at it as
but it messes you up because then you're like you don't like I say that's what potentially was one of the reasons that drove you to fucking. I remember Mercer was saying it was like Eddie's like taking it so serious compared to what we were doing, which was unreal. You know what I mean? How proud we were. You know what I mean? Because like we see you growing up and we were like. Eddie's like this is what we wanted for us. You know what I mean? And we're so happy to see you do it. You know what I mean?
But you're right, if you're paying out of your own money, you're going to put everything into it. You're not going to let that like just waste away.
I know.
But someone pays for free, you're like, well, thanks very much.
But it goes back to everything then. Like if you're paying for a service, like just like someone's paying you, or like people pay us for coaching, like you expect them to put something into it because they're paying for it, and then they appreciate, or at least they should appreciate the time a lot more.
We actually said that as well. It's like you give something to free to someone, they're not going to treat you the same at all. Like, how'd you get on doing that? Oh, I didn't really do it. Like, it's because you got it for free.
100%.
But if you pay for it, like you're going to like do it. Like,
and that's the danger. That's what when I realised that I was like, there's a danger in just free
content.
Like if you used to like free clients. The clients have no real obligation to you.
No, not at all.
They could just say they could just drop out a week later and just say, it wasn't me.
Yeah.
But there's a benefit to the overall like endeavour if they pay up front, and it's something that they would be they wouldn't want to see wasted. Do you know what I mean? That's a good.
It's a good way of saying it, but like this is obviously free. You can view this for free. Do you know what I mean? But you have to produce that type of stuff to get yourself out there. Like no one's gonna know you.
Same with content.
Same with the content and stuff. Like
realistically, you can go on anyone's YouTube channel now or Instagram or whatever, and you can find their whole workout, their whole diet plan, and it's right there for you free. Like you don't have to pay for any of it. Like
don't be saying that.
But like why don't people just take that and go with it? Because like you need someone there to keep you accountable.
Why do people like? What makes somebody think they need like a personal trainer then?
I think
like accountability, like we're saying. I think accountability
is one thing. I think another thing is like it depends on where you're at. Like if you're someone who's been in the gym but you just want to take it to that next level and learn a bit more, I think that's another thing. Then the obvious ones are like people who are only starting and they don't know where to go. Like, and they're people you don't want to steer too wrong. Like even when we see people in the gym, like I'd see, you know, young lads, and my little brother might know, and I'd be like, you know, make sure he's not doing that, or get him to do this instead. Like, because you want to steer people the right way. Like,
don't want them breaking their back.
But you're skipping them years. Like Eddie said, even with me, when you I hopped on with Eddie, like you're skipping them years that you have to learn. Like we've been there, done that. Like so we're giving you that like 5-6 years that you can just skip, and we can give you that workout with nutrition that we've learned over time, and you give it to the students or their clients or whatever. So like we're kind of teaching them as well. So you can kind of look at it that way as well.
But everyone has different backgrounds as well. Like when you started, I'm sure it was for, you know, the physicality, taekwondo and all the other stuff.
Well, I think it became. Well, Mercer got me into it, really. You know what I mean? He made me see the light. You know what I mean? He was working out at 60. He was breaking all the records as a young man. You know what I mean? He has such a drive. You know what I mean? A competitive drive. Like with the if you put him in, I think if you put him in any situation, he'll try and fucking get to the top of that hierarchy, whatever way. But
he'll kill people to get there.
He got me into the gym, and then it was just so good getting stronger, you know what I mean? And you're seeing yourself, and then we went around the tank tops and everything, you know, the gloves, like we had it all, you know what I mean? People ask you what protein you're taking, it's like as if that was a thing.
I know.
But I did have good genetics as well, you know what I mean? Like there wasn't, but I did fucking work hard as well, you know what I mean?
You know, we always kind of say it's like community is massive in the gym, and that's something we'd love to actually bring back, is like a good community. it's like even, you know, the weekends, like it's something small of like having a little event on the weekend, bring everyone together in the gym, offer, they don't have to come if they don't want to, but like come down for a coffee, like how many coffee shops in Skerries, like, do you know what I mean, like there's about 20 coffee shops, like bakeries, like it's so simple to do. Contact that person, the coffee shop, get all the coffees down, everyone can just sit around, have a shy talk, and you know, that's the community. Like, start building it up. Like, you don't know everyone in the gym or whatever. Like, back in the day, in the old school,
like, know everyone. Like, Gold's Gym back in the day, they went
the
in.
Gold's Gym, like,
you know, they all knew everyone. Like, and we always talk about that. We're like, I wish you could get more of that community sense. Like what you're trying to do with the podcast. You know, where you have like, it could be one day a week or a weekend where you get everyone in for an hour. And if no one shows up, no one shows up. But have those few people there, and you start to meet people and build that community. And then when you go in, it's how are you getting on?
And how are you getting on?
Exactly. How are you getting on? Like, someone could run a podcast. Do you want I will come on the podcast.
But
like,
you could meet someone down there that could massively benefit you as well. Like, someone could be like, oh, I'm an audio specialist. You're like, holy shit, I have the podcast. Oh yeah, I can teach you this, teach you that.
And it's not
build that community.
It's not involved around drink. Me here talking about drink again. It's not involved about drink. Like, you're not drunk.
I know.
It's not shy talk. It's proper conversations. Like,
it's real content. Remember.
Yeah. Where do you actually get that?
I know, and this is actually a really interesting point, because the pubs are great, right? Because it's like a meeting place. It's like, right, so the gym, you could say, okay, well, people have an excuse to just put on headphones and go work out. Because it's a gym, like, so it's not like a pub, right? A pub, it's more like a social institution in a way, like where there's other people around who are also just sitting around drinking and talking, you know what I mean? So it's kind of tied into the contract of a pub that it's like, oh, it's this place where people go. So I think for the gym, it's like, how can you make the gym, like we had these ideas before, like me, Mirza, and like Sean, and when we started doing these little, because this had Fernando, one of my really good friends. He came into the gym, right, and he changed everything, because he introduced. Do you know what he taught me? And it's something that I push myself to do it more. Introduce yourself. Introduce yourself. Hi, I'm Donica, or I'm TK, or I'm Basil. So many names.
I was saying to Eddie, I was like, what was my call? TK, Donica, Basil.
If you know me before Basil.
I like Basil.
I like Basil.
I like Basil.
It's more spellable. But the introduce yourself. How many times have you just ever introduced yourself? To say, hi, I'm blah blah, how are you doing? Fernando, it's unbelievable.
Breaking that barrier, like.
He became one of my like good, really best friends, you know what I mean? And he started with just like that, and then he's in my house cooking, and I was actually only down in his gaff, like this is like 7 years later, down in Mead. I was down there for the weekend, do you know what I mean? And like our friendship is still going just from that. He introduced himself.
It's funny, I've heard of Fernando from you. Like, I didn't even know this guy. Like, he must have such like a big impact.
Friendly, like he made it. Like he really went out of his way to make a friendly environment, and he was a giant of a man. Like he was very strong, big. Like
exactly, but we'd always have we'd have these little games. So suddenly, people started knowing each other. There, people that I only kind of looked at. Now we were communing, because Fernando knew that was talking to them, and then I was talking to them.
And he'd bring them into the circle. Like,
so it's like, it's hard. He wasn't afraid to put himself out there. You know what I mean? And to say, and it's like, we're all capable of like we've proved. All of us here can have a conversation. You know what I mean, that's all it takes. And talk about yourself a bit. Just say, oh yeah, I just came, blah blah. Because if you talk about yourself a bit, it's an easy thing to say as well. Like, even just. Fernando would just talk, it would literally be like a stream of consciousness, whatever is in his head. It still is, he'll just say exactly what he was doing a second ago, you know what I mean? But that introduces, like, oh yeah, we're just doing this, oh, you know, it's hard, blah, 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 well, I've seen you were doing this, or giving people respect as well. Like, Jesus, you did, like, how many pull-ups was that? That was crazy. So it's on us to kind of, when it's uncomfortable, to just step into that uncomfort and try to make it more than it is by communicating with people in the gym. Where do you work out actually?
In Black Rose.
Black Rose.
Black Rose.
What's like? It seems like, I don't know actually. I'm sure. It seems like a communal place, does it? It
is, like, it does have it's a very good community, like, there's loads. We know loads of people down there, like. I don't know how long we down there, 3 years now, like.
I think it's lasted 2 years. Is it?
It could be 2-3 years. Like, so
Yeah.
we know like so many people, but like
your man, he does podcasts and stuff.
yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Right, like Ryan, yeah, he does.
Yeah,
podcasts.
Ryan, yeah.
But I don't think like even
Coming for you, Ryan.
yeah, we're coming for it. Yeah, there's like I just think not even like Black Rose. It's not like no gym. It's kind of hitting that niche of a community.
Full on.
Yeah, like really kind of come on in on the weekend, you chill out, like, and
it's just having something back like that. Give back to your members in a
Yeah.
sense, but like let people communicate and have that community aspect. Even if you close off like one floor
suppose
for
you
an
kind
hour
of
the weekend.
CrossFit's kind of bit like
Kind
that.
of,
Their
but you know,
kind
like
of
CrossFit
community.
have that community, like you know what I mean. Them gym, everyone knows each other, and they do these hard,
Yeah,
intense
fuck
work,
CrossFit.
but they have that.
It's kind of like
but they do
cool
have that.
Yeah, but
bodybuilding.
wait, but it's what is it about that? It makes it like, is it the little competition stuff?
Could be, yeah,
be.
As
yeah.
in, like one idea we had ages ago was imagine you had, now obviously you need it like per weight, for your own weight or whatever, but you have like the bench like score of like
Yeah.
who's lifted the most in the
But
gym in
The
different
Black Rose,
things.
they have that up on the wall.
Oh,
As
that's
well.
mad.
But they haven't filled it out. I don't think.
No.
I'm not sure, but it has for different weights and whatever, and it'd be cool then, because then you go,
Yeah,
oh shit, he's
Like
a big
you're saying
squat.
there,
Like,
sorry, but like a meet almost, like on a weightlifting meet nearly, like, or you come in and have a bit of crack, like bench and deadlift and squatting, like, and make a day out of it.
Make a day of
Yeah,
it.
don't be real
The farmer's
serious,
walk,
like,
like
yeah.
the crack, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Do you know Elliot Holtz?
yeah,
Yeah, like he in strength
Yeah.
camp. Like, do you know Eddie Holtz? Yeah.
No.
ball joy.
Yeah, he's very good. You should look him up. He's brilliant. And like, I remember watching him strength camp years ago. He used to have something like that. Like once a month, you invite all his people out, and like you do like farmer carries, like shoulder press, all this kind of strength stuff. But he'd be interviewing everyone. He'd be talking to people, getting to know them. Like they'd be from all around the world. People from Ireland there as well. He's over in Florida. Like this fella, he's massive. Like he's a really good speaker.
And
Eddie
get
Holtz,
everyone interacting with
I
each
think
other. Then,
that's
like,
actually a really good answer to this, right? Because, okay, people that are going to the gym, right? Let's say let's say if you say, oh, we're gonna have a coffee day or a pub day. It's like, all right, so maybe some people don't drink coffee, maybe some people don't drink, right? But the one thing that you know is that they work out. They go
Yeah.
to the gym, right?
Yeah.
They're in the gym. They're doing something in the gym, and I think having some sort of day, like a CrossFit day, maybe if that word hurts you, you can use a different word.
No, yes,
But like that feels like it would pull people in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's a bit of crack. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's a bit of like, oh shit, this is.
And here,
deadly.
it'd be good for it also, like the gym owner. Or like the PTs there, a chance to kind of get to know the people in the gym.
Yeah.
Like they can really take advantage of that big time. Like,
Yeah.
you know, people looking for a bit of advice or a bit of help. And if they get to know the PTs in the gym or the gym owner a lot better, like there's like your
because
clients,
sometimes
like,
you don't have much to. Like, unless you have your social media platform and you're out there and you're doing videos, people just see you as a body, like,
Yeah.
realistically, like. So, like, for you to get to know someone and have your personality come out, like, unless you do something like this,
Yeah.
that's a great way of getting it out there, like, and getting people talking and going.
Like
"Jeez,
actually, a
he's not
guy
that
approached
bad,"
us in the gym there a while ago. Like I was literally just spotting Eddie. He was benching. I was just spotting him. He just comes up and he's like, "Lads, like, do you coach and do PT?" And we're like, "Yeah, we do." And he was like, "Seeing you, you're always helping each other. You're always looking out for each other. Your form is spot on. I see you kind of chatting away. You have a good vibe, always laughing." And he was like, "Do you mind if I hop on board?" You're like, "Yeah, no problem at all."
Class.
Like that's like it's mad. Didn't have to even talk to him. Nothing.
Wow.
Like he just seen us
Yeah.
by our actions, by the way we were portraying ourselves in the gym. Like, you know, and that's a big seller as well. Like,
yeah, and then when he got chatting to us, and then you
learned a lot
learn
about him.
about people's personalities, like it just makes it so much more
Changed
comfortable. Like,
everything. And then it's a great place to go because
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know the people, you know the stories. That's what the part of the local impact is. It's
Yeah.
that the place becomes more vibrant because you're more invested in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're rooting for the people in the place. But I think what we hit on there, I think, is that it needs to be an event of some kind in the gym that people are coming for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because events mean. You know, there's like at this time someone has to open up the event. It's like, oh, so here, blah blah, how we getting on? Everybody?
Yeah.
Like, you ready for some whatever?
Yeah.
So that's like part of it, and then it's
Get
like,
the
right,
MC.
they have to explain the event, right? So that's part, like, and everyone's gathered around for this particular thing. You know what I mean? It's not like a solitary endeavor where everyone's going in. And then that pulls people in straight away. And then you have the opportunity, as people are doing it, it's like, oh, fair play, what's your name, blah, blah, all
yeah,
this stuff.
exactly. You're chatting in between that, like.
Yeah, you're chatting in
Yeah.
between all that
Yeah.
stuff. And then and then you're giving out little prizes, whatever, and like, you know, making it fair, like, so it's like people in maybe whatever. Even if it doesn't have to be super fair, it just has to be something cool.
Exactly, you don't have to partake in it or nothing.
Just
You can come down
like,
and just sit down and do nothing. You can just have a chat, like.
Yeah,
but
that's
how
do you make it have a bit of crack? Like,
that's how you'll have a bit of crack by just doing some of the events anyway. Like you can have something that's more CrossFit-y, right?
Yeah,
you can have another one that's more.
What's wrong with CrossFit?
I don't know.
You actually can't say the word now. Like.
It's like.
I'm only messing. There's nothing wrong
with it.
There's nothing wrong with it.
It's like one of
it's
these
funny.
things,
It's just one of them things that people hate. Like
Nickelback or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it gets a bad rap.
But
I know what you mean. But I think. That and it ties in with what I'm trying to do. What I'll be doing this summer when I'm back busking at the harbour. It's creating an event. Events, lads.
Maybe we could have you playing busking, and we'd be just out like Venice Beach.
I could just fucking commentate on it.
Get a pull-up bar.
Yeah.
Down by the beach. Have Basil there.
Yeah.
MC and just have people.
And
how many
Edco.
you can do?
That'd be hilarious.
That'd be really cool. Like.
What's the most?
I like a bench there as well with some weights.
you just bring it somewhere. That'd be hilarious.
Push-ups, pull-ups, I don't know, something like sprints, running around, like just being acting a maggot.
That'd be like, I mean, who knows?
Kids could get involved, everything. It doesn't have to be like a certain age, like you get everyone in.
I hate, right, alright, fair enough, it was a good idea initially, or it was they had the right intentions, but these little, do you know the gym equipment that they have, like the machines, like, just, why didn't they just put a pull-up bar? One pull-up bar!
I know.
Or a dip bar, like, or
something. Or a dip bar!
Yeah.
And they're so, like, when I've been around other places that they just have simple dip bars, simple pull-up bars, and then these other machines, some of them are like,
waste of money.
Like, waste.
Literally a waste.
Yeah.
Could be put
like if they just set up like, you know, like the outdoor gyms they have, like, and you don't even need much. A couple of pull-up bars, a couple of dip bars, like. It'd be such a good way to go down and meet people, lads like you who love calisthenics as well. Like.
Yeah, it really would. Throw the rings up and there you go. Like.
Oh, it'd be so cool, and then they could get people to like experience different types of working out and stuff, like just back to the super duper event thing, but bringing rings down and stuff, like, or what stuff that you've never like tried, like there's lots of calisthenic stuff as well, that you try to, you know, bring people in.
Like high jumps or jumping or something.
High jumps, that's a great one. That's a great one. Everyone could jump as high as they can, even if it's up onto that couch.
Yeah. Like I seen your video actually. I was away. I was in home last summer. I don't know what it was like, but it looked busy. Like when you were was that last summer you were busking up around like the harbour? Was it? Last summer. And like all the kids are around. Everyone like it was busy.
Crazy.
The horse mask.
Oh man.
Yeah.
What
was going on there?
Funny. I think that was one of the funniest things ever. And like it was some of the best dancing I've ever done. When I was looking back at that, I was like, I can't even do that now.
Like that was just you, it was one person. Imagine you had so many people on that. Like everyone in Skerries who kind of had their own little niche and stuff came together. And like made events every week.
That was it. That's the team.
Like it'd be so good. Like
that would be so good. And that's what we can do, and we have it in our hands.
Yeah.
To like the jump. For me, I love jumping, so I'm just like I'm just going to jump on thing. It's such an accessible thing as well.
You see that wall there? You probably kill yourself. Jump up on that wall where you're busking behind
it.
Like,
you could get kids, but kids like kids. I think they have the most fun with little. So it's like how do you? Yeah. So the event. You don't want kids who are trying to bench press 100 or whatever. But the stuff that's but benching, and obviously some people who have never benched before, it's an actually funny thing for people to bench. If you're not right, so one time, this is when I was real into the gym when I was younger, right? And I was up in my mate Breno's shed, right? And we were drinking, right? And he has the bench there, and so we lost. I think it was 130. I think it was the most I'd ever done. But I was drinking, and like I don't know if the drink actually made me stronger.
Yeah.
But I did it, right?
Courage.
And it was like everyone was like, like, you know what I mean? And then his brother came in, right? And his brother was like, let me try it. I was like, I don't know, like whatever. And he got under, right? And as soon as it went down, it just went down. I was like, but he just seen me do it. And thinking, like these young lads,
these young lads.
These young lads, they didn't realize, like it's so funny to see
the strength of the drink.
The reality just sets in, and it's so awkward. It's like, get it off him, you know what I mean? Because he's in the older hierarchy.
Yeah.
But I think there's a safe like learning to bench, you know what I mean? Like having kind of like a place where, you know, you try to organise the sort of weight and stuff, and you're training people in to do the bench. Like you start with the bar, you know, you start yourselves, whatever. So like you could be like an open day where you learn.
Literally an open day.
An open day where people have never like done.
Of all age, well, to a certain age, like, and they can explore that, because kids, like we touched on earlier, like they love, they're curious about everything,
exactly,
like in any sort of movements, like that'd be such a good idea. Like.
Yeah, there's so much in this, but yeah, and then I think that'll help. Like it's just about I think events are a good way to go, but then it's hard because you have to put yourself out there.
Yeah,
say we're doing this thing.
You're putting yourself.
And then you just have to live with the consequences. If like, but then, what do you expect as well? Like, is it going to work? Is it going to be a smash success right away? Maybe not. And then maybe you have to iterate. Maybe you figure out by doing it what works and what doesn't. That's the most important thing. But if you never do it, let's say if you wait years and then you say, all right, we'll do it, and then you learn, oh, actually, the jumping thing doesn't work. Nobody likes to jump. You know what I mean? I know everyone's going to jump.
No one likes to jump.
No one likes to jump. Like that. Well, there we go.
Yeah.
People really
but I
love
like
bench.
to jump. Yeah.
People love learning the bench for the first time. You know what I mean? And like figuring that out. So it's like, but in a gym, I think. Is that my window? Paddy job.
Paddy jobs.
We're finishing up, brother.
Someone looking to get in. Who's next?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, like it's
anybody.
It's gonna be Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan.
Coming in with his new found event.
Here, we're landing this on someone now. Like we need someone.
Someone needs to pick this up now.
An open day or something in the gym. I think Black Rose did something though, like an open day or something. Did they?
They kind of had a few things, kind of CrossFit stuff again.
Like events and stuff. Like and open days. We were never around for it though. We were always away when they were around.
We were never there.
But like we're talking more along the lines of like these community events, like whether it's a coffee evening or even something like that, like,
regular,
everyone can get involved, like, and
you need
more regular.
You need like the wedding. I was actually if you have a wedding, then basically everyone kind of goes to wedding because it's a wedding. You can't make an excuse, like, you know what I mean. Like you have to go. So you do need a reason. There needs to be a reason. Like for swimming, like the rituals that I built up around swimming, I haven't gone in a while, so I'm not going to pretend.
I remember actually used to see you with the dry roll.
A few pictures make you think you're doing it every day.
I know. Yeah.
People thought I was busking every day, but really it was one video each day from one day. You know what I mean? For a month or something, and but it's just so funny, this perception.
That's the power of social media, though.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like
manipulating content, like
just making the content.
Yeah.
What was the saying just before that?
Swimming.
Yeah. So the people need so getting a coffee after the swim, like that's part of it. So it's like
so part and parcel.
If you need the whatever the gym thing is, then it's like you do it after. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or, like what's a good day? Sunday. People, I didn't have to work anyway. It's just one of them things where, you know, hopefully, if there's something there, it'll become something eventually. But it's just getting the brain going on it. You know what I mean? And then talking to you, because if you have clients and you're talking to people, they're the people that are way more. They know yous and they're like, oh yeah, I'd be interested.
Yeah, exactly. Getting in, even if it's 5-10 people that show up, like, and then it keeps building and building.
Because like I said before, like 5 people know 5 people, and you know they need something to do. Like there's no shortage of people looking to get in shape and get started in the gym. Like so they'd be like, oh, come down. There's an open day on. You can meet a few of the people, get you a bit more comfortable. Like things like that.
You just have to open your own gym. You do your own.
That's
thing.
the dream.
That's the dream.
Like, everyone has that dream.
I know.
To the gym. Till it comes down to it, and the finances come down to it.
It's
like,
kind of like a bit too much money, like.
But again, like life is long, you know what I mean?
Yeah, who knows what's going to happen?
Edco gym.
Edco gym. There actually is a gym in town, you know. There is an Edco gym.
Is there?
Yeah, literally, Eddy. Yeah, Edco UCO. Like there's a few of them. There's a chain of them.
Jesus.
I was like, remember I sent that to you? I was like, there's a chain of them. Kind of.
Well, they've already they beat you to the punch, but there's always room for another one.
Yeah, true. We're going to kind of break the scene. Who knows?
So just a question I was thinking I should ask is that why should people care about fitness? Like I know it seems obvious, you know what I mean? But like why should they even care about it? You know what I mean? Like what would we want to say? What would we want people to know? if that are just like, because I know people that have never done any sort of training in their life at all. You know what I mean? And they don't see it as the way I see it. It's like it optimizes on so many different other levels. But why fitness? Why is it important?
I think there's a lot of reasons, right? And without getting into the health aspects of it, I just think there's so many things now that make you feel down, right? Your social media, being a young person or an older person, or you don't like your job, that there's so few things that just naturally make you feel good and happy. And I think the gym is a perfect avenue for that. Whether you're feeling depressed, anxious, whatever, other things could be going wrong in your life, like, or you have a bad day, you can just go in, like 20 kilos, 10 kilos is always 20 kilos or 10 kilos. It'll always set you straight, like, you know what I mean? And you come out and you have a good workout. You see things a different way, right? You feel good about yourself, like, regardless of all the health stuff and getting stronger and getting fit. I think that for me is a good reason to start anything, like, you know.
There's literally, like, there's no negative really. It's all positive. Like, even if you like underlying health condition or anything, getting out and getting moving doesn't have to be in the weights. It can just be cardio, like on the treadmill or something, like.
But it makes it's just like you do something.
Changes your state.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Just doing those small things.
You feel positive. You have a positive feeling always when you put in a bit of work.
Yeah, and like you get so much out of yourself from it. Like, I've developed friendships and like this persona just from the gym, that if I never did it, like, I wouldn't have probably known you or a lot of different people.
Or you wouldn't be here.
Have got my out of my shell. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, so it can give you, like, don't underestimate the power of these small things, like, and just getting started. Like,
I think that's so. It's such a beautiful way of just saying why people should get it. It's like, well, regardless of all the other stuff, there's a chance that you will feel good in yourself and about life. You know what I mean? Like getting that dopamine hit. You know what I mean? You don't have to go drinking or drugging or whatever you used to be doing.
Drink's bad for you.
Nice. He has a problem. This is his vodka. You know what I mean? He's just topping it up. He's just pretending.
He has a problem.
But
no, like we were saying, like, there's no actual like community type of place to go to unless it's revolved around kind of alcohol and stuff.
I know.
Like, if you want to go kind of socialise, it's down to the pub. Where else do you go?
I know. And I think coffee houses and stuff.
That's why coffee does so well. Because it's kind of another avenue of socialising the community, like.
But it only kind of works if you know the people already. Like I say, like we can plan to go coffee, but a pub, you'll see people randomly in that, you know what I mean. So there's something still that the pub offers. You know what I mean? And some people, like, everyone gets a bit looser with alcohol, you know what I mean? And it's better for some people than others. You know what I mean? I always just ended up blacking out. I'd always have a good time, you know what I mean? But I never really remember it. And I can always, I'm basically drunk now, you know what I mean? Because I'm busking and stuff. It makes you drunk. It gives you the power of, like, you can just do whatever. You're not really, I'm not really embarrassed, you know what I mean? I still am possibly or capable of getting embarrassed. But yeah, Jesus, look. If you're getting these events going somewhere, you know, there's a guitar there, I'll play. But I think he's could get something going, an open day. But you know, who knows what he's gonna get going.
That'd actually be a good one for the summer. Definitely get something kind of going. Even if it's with us like together. Or whoever else. You can see whoever else you get in the podcast. See what they can bring. Throw that question out to them. Be like, what do you think of an event?
What do you think about the head? The fucking Skerries Olympics, like.
Skerries Olympics.
Yeah. But John, I was actually just thinking there, like, getting, like, even for me, getting trained, like, by a personal trainer would be just good to see through their eyes. And even for yous to even imagine just doing a day with some other trainer, like in town, like some other mad trainer, just to get a different whole perspective. You know what I mean? Like, it's like. So, you know, I'll be getting in for some Edco soon, you know what I mean? Get kickstart my fucking gym back, you know what I mean?
You always learn something, like, and then we learn something from you. Like, I take it as like you can learn something from everyone, regardless of age or how level of experience, like you can learn something about working out from anyone and everyone.
Even from this like talking, like you said, when you look back at this podcast nearly, you can learn from yourself. The way we were talking about what you want to do or where you want to go, you want to create your own podcast.
And you'll be learning, is that what I mean even? What do I mean by that? And then you get deeper and deeper on yourself.
Like I'm going to be saying to him now, I was like, remember we said that, like maybe we should do it.
Yeah, maybe we should.
It kind of puts you on the right path, like when you listen to yourself back. You're like,
Sometimes I hate listening to myself back though. Did you ever get that? Like,
100% at the beginning. When you were so how I got over that was through WhatsApp voice messages. Basically sending voice messages and then listening back to them. You know what I mean? Because we started off. One of my friends, Monksy, he couldn't text Paddy at the time. One of the other lads we were going to do the original podcast with. Yeah. And he sent the first audio message in our little group, and then we started talking about the audio message, and we're like, wow, that's so cool. And then we were all listening to what they said or whatever, and then I was just like, we should do that. We should just all communicate in audio. So there was a period where no one was allowed text in our group or whatever. We were just sending audio. And but then we were practicing. We had podcasts to each other. Like lads were breaking records. Like
that's mad.
Just talk. It got out of hand.
See, our friend group aren't that honest. They'd send in a dodgy voice note, and you'd be on the train home. This man's notorious for it, right? And he busts out, and there'd be all sorts of stuff.
Funny how voice notes are taken off though. Like, I see the way you can speed it up on WhatsApp. We were only saying that. It's like you're gone so impatient. I know. Where it's like. I don't have time to listen to a voice note that's in 1 minute long. I'm going to speed it up here and someone be kind of squelching in your ear like you really kind of lost that.
I used to think that as well. Oh, we got some... How are we getting on? We're still going, Sorry. No, please, don't. You can come in now in a minute. Once I hit the 2 hour mark, I'm going to start taking our calls. We're 2 minutes away. We're not there yet. So we're going to keep going with the WhatsApp messages.
Yes.
I think so that would be a good way of... and speeding things up. That's even with this podcast. Like that's why I like not editing anything. You know what I mean? Just leaving it as it is.
Yeah.
And there's something more human about that, and not like. And there's a benefit to like what Sean does. I mean, he cuts all the shite out, so he gives straight to the value. You know, he gives that hit, which is great for certain platforms. But for me, I want to give a sense of humanity and like because podcasts, it's a different kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I think for you lads, when you're communicating with each other, just use audio messages, right? And then listen, like when you just have a big idea, even when you just talk about this podcast, I thought it went well, Jesus, we went off in a bit down there, and then Jesus, we
it's
said
good.
this.
That's what makes the whole thing
analyze the podcast in your podcast, right?
Yeah.
And then listen back to yourself, because it's impossible not to listen back to yourself. It's so interesting because I've listened back to myself speaking way more times before I started doing this podcast, and then when I started singing. Then I was listening back to myself in a totally different way, on repeat. Little segments like trying to pick the best trying to get the right one. I don't do that as much now when I'm producing, but the point is that and then watching yourself as well is one aspect. You know what I mean? That's not as important.
I can watch myself work out. I just can't watch myself talk.
I'm the same.
Your voice travels differently to your ear. You know what I mean? Than what it does to other people. So we do sound different than what we think we sound like.
Yeah, I get you.
But that's just
that's weird though, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's weird.
But you sound like it doesn't. You sound how you sound, and no one thinks you sound weird.
Like, how do you think you sound?
Only only yourself.
Think you sound weird.
Because you're hearing yourself. Yeah,
everyone thinks you sound great. You know what I mean?
True.
Yeah. It's just there's such a disconnect between the two voices that makes you think, that's not what I thought I was. It's not even that it's bad. It's just not what I thought it was. But the only way to get over that is to listen to yourself and realise that is your voice. Yeah. And you should be just get more into it. Get way more into it. Get to learn to love your voice. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying I'm like fucking wanking to my own voice or anything, but I'm so comfortable with my voice that the thought that my voice and how it sounds never comes into my brain anymore. I'm just like,
sometimes
you're
like
there.
It might not be the voice, but like, are people interested in what they want to hear? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I'd love to take the phone up and just kind of start spitting what we have to say, even if it's on like on an Instagram story or something. Then I'm like, do they really want to hear what we have to say, or it kind of comes across like that? To me,
overthink everything though.
Yeah, it's overthinking. Like,
post it, like, whereas if you just went and done it and just got it over with. It's actually not that bad.
I'll tell you, lads, right? Before I did this, like the very first episode, I'd had an idea, just like you. Like I have, like there's stuff. I think I can say stuff that's valuable. Like I'm pretty sure that I want to see how it works. So I sat down and I tried to record myself, and it was real awkward, and I couldn't even. It was terrible at the start. It was inside my own head. Like versus where I am at now. You know what I mean? I'm like going around. But when I did it and I look back, I was like, all right, yeah, that's actually pretty good. And I think when you record yourself, you like it. You'll even like it more than what other people will. It's like so you'll think that you did even better.
Yeah.
Because
you're like, oh fuck that.
You're like, yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
And
I look
fine.
good there. Like,
you sound good because you're really listening.
Yeah.
Other people aren't really listening.
Yeah, you're listening. But like you're saying with like the vocals and you're listening to every single thing you say.
Yeah. Every inflection, every kind of thing.
The way you move, the way like your hands are.
Yeah. Like, so it's like when you do it, when you create something, the audience. Forget like the most important audience or the most interested audience in this right now is us three. Yeah. No one's gonna listen to this more than us three. You know what I mean? True, right? And that's class.
Yeah, it's
we're
cool.
creating something that's 100% valuable. Yeah. You know what I mean? In that respect. So when you go out and just think, and then what's the worst that can happen? You post a video. It doesn't get any whatever,
exactly.
And like that happen, man, who gives a fuck?
Who gives a fuck?
Once it's out there,
you do it, you iterate, you learn what works, what doesn't. Like look at like the fact that Sean is posting like every day,
every minute.
He's always because then every video's built on the last. I posted this, it did well. Now what does well? What doesn't do well? Blah blah blah, and the whole thing is getting sharper and sharper. Yeah. But it doesn't get sharper if you don't do it. It never gets sharper if you don't do the thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like and you really just have to put it out there, like.
Yeah, that's a really good way.
Like,
and then other people will say, people will be haters gonna hate comes from I think it's like a jealousy. Like why I don't see why. Yeah. The only reason I've hated on things before, if I look deep enough, it's because there's something there that I don't have in what they're doing or something. You know what I mean? And like, oh, they're talking this or whatever. Like, fucking good luck to them. Like, hate is such a low vibration of being. You know what I mean?
You're
Instead
right.
of being like, even if the content was shy, but someone's putting a video. And like for me it was shy, let's say, but I see them do it. All I can say is, fuck, fair fucking play. Yeah. They stepped out more than 99.999% of the population. Like if you look at stand-up comedians as well, this lad James Altucher, fuck, that's not his name, Acaster. I was listening to his book, but he was saying that before they were doing open mics and stuff, the lad who was training them in was like, you've already stepped out of the vast amount of populated of people. You know what I mean? You're doing something that's like way different. So like you've already won in a way. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you just have to say you have to change the game. Like why are you considered to be winning? You know what I mean? Like if you're thinking, oh, my video didn't go viral, I didn't gain anything, and I didn't do this and that, then you're not doing it right. But if you're doing it like, oh, I got that video, then I watched it back, and now I know way more. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know more about yourself, you know more about the process, you know more about everything, and then I think that's more important.
Like, you really, like, that's one thing I was trying to change this year, really, is kind of like, see the way you're saying hating on people. You have to look deep within yourself. It's jealousy,
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. It is. There's things about yourself that you compare to other people, I think, and that's where the hate comes from. Like, sorry to go across you.
You know, but like, it's one thing trying to change. It's like, maybe it's me that's doing something wrong, and these people, because they're doing well, whoever it is, like, they're doing well. Yeah. Maybe, like, we should reach out to them, or like, don't be jealous about them. Like, join the journey with them, like, hop on the journey with them, like, don't hate on them, like.
Don't hate on them, like Joe Lex Friedman, his podcast, this lad, he's unbelievable, right? And he's just one of the best. He's like Joe Rogan and a scientist combined, right? And but
that's a mad
like
mix.
when I was listening to him, right, like, because he's like, let's say he's a little bit older than me, but he's unbelievably talented, and he's musical, and he's an MIT fucking lecturer, right? And like when I was listening to him, it was like I always kind of pick on like the little things. He's like, oh, like he says he's just a normal average guy. I'm like, you're not a normal average guy. I pick on him. Like I just can't listen to him because of that.
Yeah.
Even though I look.
Because the one thing he said.
Yeah, because it's stupid. I'm just like, oh, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Just hating because there's something like I'm just like this lad is a fucking machine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'd love to be able to do in these fields like or be as developed in these fields as he is. You know what I mean? That has to be part of it. You know what I mean? Like, it's because why else would I hate on something so that's obviously so great or it's obviously so brave or hard to do? You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. You're dead right.
That's 100%.
So don't be hating. That's
literally that's the thing.
way
Just
to
don't
end
be
it.
Don't
hating.
finish
Yeah.
on. Don't be hating, because we're all susceptible to
deeper in.
jealousy.
It's jealousy.
And the other side of jealousy is inspiration.
Yeah.
That's it's the same way as in the gym when you talk to somebody and you find out their story. That jealousy or competition turns to inspiration. You know what I mean? And that's where you want to be. Because they're two sides of the same coin.
It can push you as well. Like you're looking at the guy, you're looking at like the podcast / Joe Rogan. It's kind of like he's motivating, he's pushing you. Like you want to reach there.
Yeah.
That's your goal. Like, but it can motivate you as well. Jealousy too. Like
No, it can.
Yeah.
But it's not jealousy. Then it's inspiration.
Yeah.
Jealousy is like,
Like where it
oh well,
comes
you make excuses, you make this, blah blah blah. But inspiration is like, well, if that person can do that, just imagine what I could do if I put in the work. You
you're
know
kind
what
of
I mean?
twisting them
You have
emotions
to
around.
twist it,
Like
yeah. And I've been there's been points in my life where I've been I can not off the top of my head, but I know I've had jealousy towards people.
Yeah,
you know what I
everyone.
mean?
It's only natural.
Yeah, exactly. But noticing that then tells you where your sort of insecurities are about yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You can really like learn about yourself
Yeah.
from looking at other people though. What they have or
Then-
what you don't have.
But then it's just you're looking into yourself then. And
Yeah.
it's almost like maturity, isn't it? Like at that stage, like. But
Oh, that's just the camera just moved. That's hilarious. That's so funny. No, it's grand.
that's us.
It literally just moved. But anyway, let me just try and switch it back for the end. Ah, fuck. You know what? It's grand. We did it, boys.
It's grand.
We did it.
We're still in the
Really
shop.
appreciate you
Still in
coming
the
on,
shop.
lads. And
No, thanks very much.
let me know when the
Yeah.
Olympics is happening. You know what I mean?
We'll get some events sorted. Stay
Stay tuned.
tuned this summer.
Yeah.
Everybody points. Stay tuned.
You stay tuned and don't be
Yeah.
don't be jealous.
Don't be hating. Jealousy's deep within.
Yes.
Hyperlocal impact.
Yeah.
We didn't smoke on it before this, I swear.
And buy my new album. No, and buy their stuff as
Buy
well.
our stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get us an Edco there. Yeah. Edco.
All right, that's enough now. Enough. I say the last one, right? And I'll see you later.